Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Wednesday's Cosmos and Tea. I'm your host, Heaven, and I'm back here with some friends today. I'm so excited. Hello, Mr. Joe. How are you doing? How's your week? I have some friends that might be familiar. You've seen them in the chat. Nalani, hi, I'm so glad you made it. How's your day? I know you have class soon, right? I'm good, thanks. Yay. I've been trying to figure out this screen, and I don't know why. Okay, that's gonna get really janky for a second, okay? Just don't be mad at me. It might cover the whole screen. Okay, so everyone needs to say hello. I do, and I'm glad to stop by. Me too. I'm so glad you're here. I have my friends Kelly and Gray that are gonna join us today. They're gonna have 3 Libra risings. That includes me. So, please welcome them in. Hold on. I just unmuted them, and then I still have to fix their screen. Why are they not on my screen? Transform. Reset. Okay, there. Hello. You're on the screen, and I have to fix you, though. You're gigantic on my screen. Yay! Hello. Hello, Tori. Welcome. Is that Victoria? Is that Victoria Songs? Marianne Crystal. Hello, Marianne. Welcome. We have our friends here. Yay!
Yay!
I'm so glad you guys can make it. This is Gray. Gray is in the top bar up here. And this is Kelly. Kelly is with the green toque beanie. Sorry, the Canadian just came out. I'm still trying to fix the screen because I want this to make sense. It is Victoria. Yay! Welcome. I'm glad you made it. Thank you for joining us today with Kelly and Gray. Gray is one of my first friends on Threads. We've known each other for the last at least maybe 2 years now. At least a year. Time do be going crazy. Okay, I fixed the screen. You guys look so great. So both Gray and Kelly are Libra risings, but we all have different Venus placements. Ooh, let me Oh, that's gone. Oopsies. Okay, I brought the jazz music back. Do you guys want to tell us about your placements? Great. Tell us about your Sun and your Venus. I think those are the 2 most important things right now since Libra is ruled by Venus.
Yes, so I am a Cancer Sun, and my Venus is in Gemini, conjunct a whole stellium. I'm kind of like a Trojan horse of Geminian energy.
I love that. I hold on. I'm still fixing things here on my end. Yay, perfect. So your Venus is in Gemini. That's so fun, and we both have a Gemini moon. So I think that's one of the biggest things that Gray and I first connected was oh, we're both Libra risings and Gemini moons. You were the you were the first one who I met who had that combo, and I was like, this is so fun. I love the internet.
Doesn't I think KP from Jupiter and Co is a Pisces Sun, Gemini Moon, Libra rising.
Yes.
And
yes,
so they
exactly.
are also one of us.
They're also one of us, and also Lex Devour. Lex is Scorpio. So it's interesting that you 3 are all water signs.
Sun?
Lex is a Virgo sun, and then what?
Oh, it's a Scorpio.
They have a Scorpio something. Maybe they are Scorpio rising and then a Gemini moon. I think that's what it is. I'm confusing things. Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, you're right. Lex is a Virgo sun. I want your guys' names to show up. It's there, but I have to be on the camera. That's okay. I have to make it. Okay, neat. Tori, what about you? What are your placements? Hello, Prista Shay. Hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Oh my god, I didn't even post anywhere yet. How are you doing? Kelly, please tell us your Sun and your Venus.
Yes, I have a Sagittarius Sun, and my Venus is in Aquarius in the 5th house.
Ooh.
With I have a Sagittarius and Aquarius stellium. So I guess that's the main energy thing going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you're a Sag Sun. That's so fun. Tori is a Virgo Venus, Libra Sun, and Moon and Cancer rising. Oh my god, wait, that's so fun.
Ooh.
You and Gray are kind of
Wait,
similar.
Sorry, I can't see their chat.
Victoria Song, she's a Libra sun and moon and a Cancer rising with a Virgo Venus.
Ooh.
Wait, Tori, you were born on a new moon?
Oh,
That's cool.
wait. Yes! You're so quick to catch that. That's so cool.
Oh.
I'm
I used
October
to never
18th.
catch it, and then something clued me into it, and now I always notice the full moon babies and the new moon babies by their placements.
How? How do you know that it's an like? Oh, you're right.
Just
Libra sun
like
and moon.
if it's in the
Same
same
sun.
sign, then it's a new moon, and
Yeah.
if they're in signs like on opposite parts of an axis, then it's a full moon.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. That's so cool. Hold on. Gray Garland. Okay, I'm still like writing your name out. Yay! And then let's do duplicate, and then we have Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe's October 18th, so third decan Libra. Libra Sun. We have so many Libras here. It's so fun. It's really cool that I really do be bringing the Libras in the yard. What?
I've always wondered if other like rising signs
Did the same.
congregate
Right.
together as much as Libras.
Is it just a
Because it
Libra
also
thing?
feels very Libran to be like, I
Right?
like my little Venusian people.
I love my Venusians. Peace Shay says they are Libra 11th house MC. Marianne also has a Virgo Venus A. No Libra placements, but I love Libras. Marianne, when's your birthday? What's your sun sign? Okay, hold on. I'm also just writing Kelly's name. Let me duplicate this. No, I have to.
Alright.
Can I duplicate this?
I was doing a dog walk today and listening to music, and I think the song Three Libras by Perfect Circle came up, and I was like, hey, that's fitting.
The
That's so cool.
synchronicity.
I've never heard that song.
Me neither.
Kelly.
It's cool.
Wild Free Kelly, right? Wild Free
Yeah.
Kelly.
Or
Yay!
if it's easier, you can put Kelly Green too. Whatever works.
Okay, amazing. Yes, Marianne is a Leo, obviously. I feel like Leos and
Ah.
Libras get along really, really well. Oh wait, is something going on? My screen, I had no idea that it was like this the whole time. I think was that one? What happened? Anyway, I do love Leos. Me too. I have a so my Venus is in Leo, so I feel like that also has a big reason why. Like they have a really great vibrant energy, and I love to learn from them because I'm a Virgo sun, so a lot of like Leos are very outward and Virgos are very inward, so I like to learn how to create a stage and to allow myself to be on stage. Tee.
I like that.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I think the like sextile between Leo and Libra is really like beautiful. And I always think about how like sometimes like I know I've heard it described at some point as like sextiles embodying kind of like a like teenage romance kind of energy, and I really
Oh.
feel that with Leos. I'm just
Oh.
like I just am so infatuated.
Would I love that? That's so cute. Sextiles as teenage romance. That helps me so much. I have no. I just know that opposites are bad, but they're mostly just intimidating, not necessarily bad. Because like the seventh house
Yeah.
is opposite of the first house, which is where you find your partnership. But people think about oppositions as like, what is that? A gun showdown? What is that? What they're called?
I think so. And like one thing that really helps me too is like finding out that oppositions are supposed to be of the nature of Mars and squares are of the nature of Saturn. So like Mars intense energy, like definitely standoff, like what you're describing, but also kind of sexy, like also a little bit erotic, like whereas Saturnian energy could definitely be erotic, but not in the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Definitely
like
feel the friction with the squares. Like it feels harsh, but like there's so much potential for growth.
Yeah.
ooh, yeah. Like I think about what are these called? what's the name for this?
The
Yes,
aspects.
aspects. Thank you. One way that I learned
Yeah.
about aspects is like driving. When you have like what is it when you have a 90 degree, like that's a square, right? So that's when you're at like a three-way stop, and then you have to kind of like angle, and there's just tension between the two drivers of like, are you going to go first? And it's kind of like you have to give
Yeah.
way to someone else or be more assertive. Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know who taught me that. I was like,
Feel
this is
that.
so weird, but thank you. I'm more confused
That's
now.
one that's stuck in my head too.
Yeah.
Like the four-way stop analogy.
Yeah. And then I think about like being at a dinner party, how like a conversation with someone in front of you, you either really like them and you have a really good conversation, but then everyone else is basically blocked, or it's really awkward and you want to avoid eye contact so badly. And trines, they are the easiest people to access in this conversation. It's just like you're just like leaned over, like, yeah, like, and you don't have to be like sitting so upright with the opposition. And then a square, you have to like angle yourself, and then suddenly you have more blind spots in the
Mm.
conversation.
I like how you described like the way that in an opposition like everything else gets kind of blurred because that I feel like that just connected some things for me because that really makes sense like in terms of oppositions like they always have something in common, there's something they see really clearly about each other, but it's like so all consuming.
Yes, 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 exactly. So we all are Libra risings, and we all have Aries in our seventh house. So, Gray, you were saying before screen how like it's very interesting that Libra risings, our chart is upside down. How do you think that like affects
Mm.
how we see the world? Like, do you think that us having like I guess like an opposite chart, we're a little bit more delulu?
Dude, I used to like really resent this about like the way people often, I guess, interpret the Libra rising chart and Libra in the first house. But it is kind of like true that like all of these things about agency come up in the first house, and that's why like Aries is a sign that's like really comfortable there, really comfortable with taking action and focusing on like individual will, individual goals. Whereas like Libra is always like kind of contrasting themselves with someone else. Like we're always kind of learning about ourselves. Like it's kind of like we're learning about that first house through how we either like find coherence with other people
Yeah.
or like dissonance.
Mm. Yeah, like I do find it interesting that like as the sign of not judgment, but like um balance, that we are the sign of also relationships, and that we learn through the other. I wonder if like it has anything to do with like, you know, that really old tale how like humans were born with two faces, and the reason why people have soulmates is that they were separated at the beginning of time, and then you find your other half. Do you guys know anything about that?
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a really
That's
Yeah.
old like
fascinating.
folklore.
Yeah, I feel like that will be something to like let digest over time on what that says about Libra. I feel like there's something there. I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, because then like the way of like judgment and balance, it's like how can we really know what balance is if we are the only one in space?
Mm.
Yeah, if you have like no other like context points, then like you could end up drawing conclusions and forming entire belief systems that make no sense. Like they're not useful outside of you,
Yeah, like we don't have
like in the
feedback.
real world.
Docs of ugh Libras,
Yeah.
am I right? Okay, Libra son, don't be a hater. Doxon's a Libra son. So I think Doxy and Mr. Joe have like their birthdays are a week apart. Kelly, so your Venus is in Aquarius?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, did I just dox Doxy? You guys have your birthday. Your birthdays are a week apart, I think. Um, so your Venus is Kelly's Venus is in Aquarius. My Saturn is in Aquarius. Do you know what
Ooh.
degree your Venus is?
Ooh, I could find out very quickly.
Okay.
I don't know what degree. I just recently, in the last couple years, had my like Pluto over my Venus,
Ooh,
which was not fun.
that
It was
sounds,
rough.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm
that's
kind of
still
glad.
going on. That's like
Uh,
that's
it
gonna
looks
be your
like the
20-year
first
situation, I
degree.
think.
The first degree, oh my god, so that's right on top of my Saturn. My Saturn is on the first
What?
degree also.
No way. Oh my God, that's so cool.
That's
Doxy
like
just
I
said,
think
"Hi
that would be
everyone, great
good
to see you all on
synastry.
stream."
Hi, Docs. I feel like having like Venus and Saturn conjunct would be like good synastry for like a serious
Oh
committed
yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, like I feel like lawyers for some reason. I'm like, if we have lawyer matters.
That's very Saturnian, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The new
Yeah.
the new relationship I have going on, we both have our Venus and Saturn signs swapped. So
Oh,
both are conjunct, yeah.
they're conjunct and
Oh,
So
then they're
that's
that's
really
like
cool.
opposition.
yeah, so Venus
Pisces?
and
No,
Saturn in
sorry,
Aquarius and then
Leo.
Venus and Saturn in Aries. So I
Uh,
have my Saturn return
I don't know
going on
why.
right now.
I thought opposite. Okay.
fun.
Whoa, that's fun. So like,
Yeah.
what is that? A trine
I'm like, what is that?
or just shapes? My birth year is
Just
It
at
looks like
1984.
maybe
Google says.
sextile.
Also, Doxum is like 800 years old. He's a vampire. So I could be he could be a Libra from like another time. Maybe months weren't a thing yet.
That's like a lot of Pluto returns to go
Oh my
through.
god. Rebirth. I mean that's a very vampiric
Big
thing to be
transit.
constantly going through rebirths, you know. Oh,
Oh,
mine is 11188. That's so much public math. I'm not going to do that. I read something really interesting today that the way that Pluto showcases in fashion. So Pluto in
Ooh.
Scorpio. So Pluto in Scorpio was like my times, or so like the 90s, like early 90s. So 1990 to 92, 93, and
I
the
have Pluto on Scorpio,
yeah.
so it definitely went on longer than that.
What year are you, Gray?
95, and
95.
I think maybe some people born in 96 are Pluto and Scorpio too, but I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, I think I'm like messing up with like Pluto and Saturn. Saturn is 3 years and Pluto is longer. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so like Pluto, the Pluto generation people were in like the dark 90s. Like they had more like the gothic aesthetic. And then after that was Y2K. Y2K was Pluto in a, no,
Should be
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius,
Yeah,
I think.
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius.
That's mine. I was 97.
Mm. And then what was it? What's the next one? Someone said Capricorn. Pluto in Capricorn was when beauty became a
Like business
transaction.
casual?
Yeah, business casual
Ooh.
also.
Business
That
casual at the club?
yes, exactly. Literally 2014 or whatever that business casual era was. Like that really was like we were all realtors at the
I think
club.
it started in like 2008 and like just ended, I think, at the end of like November 2024.
Hmm.
Right, because Pluto just moved into Aquarius. So funny. Like, what were we doing peplum tops at the freaking club? Tori says, me
I
and my
like it.
boyfriend have swapped Venus signs, are also our sun signs. He's a Virgo
Oh.
sun, Libra Venus. I'm a Libra sun, Virgo Venus. I don't know anything about synastry, but it feels good. That does sound really, really nice.
Yeah, it's almost, you know what? It's almost like mutual reception, where like, for example,
Oh.
Mercury rules Gemini, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. If Jupiter was in Gemini and Mercury was in Sagittarius, they would be considered in mutual reception, so kind of like helping each other out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a similar vibe.
Yeah, like you guys speak the same language. It's what it sounds like. In the club, we all wear business casual. Exactly. Ooh. Yeah, like because Libra is ruled by Venus, right? And then Virgo's not ruled by the sun, but that's fine. Virgo is the sign of for me like it's very service, acts of service. So like Virgo and Venus and Virgo for me has been like a life changer. I'm like, wow, this is so nice. As a Virgo sun, I'm like, you see me. I care about you the same way. You care about me the same way. That's so nice. Is that how you feel, Tori? You love me the same way. Kelly, is that what you're feeling with your new man? You're like, I think like the making plans, right? Like your Saturn,
Oh
because your Saturns are
yeah.
like swapped with each other.
Yeah, so far the way because I'm still kind of learning how everyone's Saturn return came up for each other. Because I'm going through mine, and so far it's off to a very interesting start. But it's sort of like it was almost like we have to be tested in these different areas, but we have to grow from those things, and then we naturally like the qualities about each other that we had to grow to develop, you know? It's almost like
Mm.
having an appreciation for those like challenges and sort of how it shaped us and whatnot. But
When
it
did
also seems to give a lot of stability, which is nice. I
Yeah.
like that.
I was
Could
gonna
use
ask,
some more stability.
how when did he have his Saturn return? Because this was in Aries. Yours is in Aries,
His
his is in his
Saturn's in
Aquarius. Yeah.
Aquarius. So right around the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Which
Cody's
is a
Saturn
wild
is in
time.
Aquarius.
same.
Yeah,
Oh.
my partner.
Same.
You also, you also have like Sun in Aquarius and Mercury in Aquarius.
Whoa.
So that was an interesting time in his life. That's all I have to say about that.
Were you guys living together at that time?
Yeah.
Saturn and Aquarius gang for real. 90, 91, 92 babies, I think. Definitely 91 babies.
Yup.
Um, that is something actually I wanted to talk about. So, I had my Saturn return in Aquarian, man. He's an aquarium. I had my Saturn return in Aquarius, so that was 6 years ago now. That was the start of it. And Gray, you just finished your Saturn return, right? Yes, and then Kelly
Yeah.
is just about to like is just
I'm
starting
just
hers.
in it.
Yeah. So I find it interesting that
Look
we're in
at
these
us,
like generation.
Three
It's great.
generations.
Yeah. Um just
That's
starting
amazing.
mine too. 8. I'm like, what? Aries
yeah,
Saturn,
yeah.
right? How's it going for you guys?
Yes.
I think so. When I first saw, like, someone posted on Threads that, like, in literally on 420, all the freaking planets are gonna be in Aries, and I was like,
Ooh.
I threaded that. I was like, am I getting married or am I fighting? Like, what's going on? Am I breaking up with
Right?
everybody or am I like getting locked down? What's going on this day? Because that's another sound. Stay safe out there, Aries Saturns. Literally.
For
Yeah.
real, for real.
One of
Stay
my
safe.
friends is having a baby that's due possibly on the 19th of April, and I was like, that baby's gonna have so much Aries energy.
I remember you posting about that.
Like
Which
5
also, by the
planets.
way, for the like Saturn and Aquarius people, like Saturn was in Aquarius from like May of last year to September 1st of last year.
Yeah.
Like so you can look at that time period to kind of judge what it's gonna be like. But because Saturn transits are long and slow, like you're not gonna know until you're already deep in it. Like mine was like late degrees of Pisces. So I had like all of this buildup, and then it hit very intensely and crashed back down. Whereas like my friend has her Saturn at like 0 degrees Aries, so she's like out of the gate. And
Yeah.
then it's gonna be a long come down. And it's a very different
Whoa.
experience.
Like
So
right
like
from the
knowing the
beginning.
degree of your Saturn, that's like a good thing to look at.
I noticed that like I have like whenever some planets move signs at the beginning of the sign, it's always like smooth sailing for me. Even though my Saturn
Ooh.
return was like at 1 degree, I was like, I'm having a great time. What's the problem? And then 3 years later, I'm like, you know what? I don't know who I am anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
It makes
Um.
a lot of sense though,
Yeah. I think
I feel like.
I think it might be because we're Libras, so that might be like I was like, oh, like we're having a good conversation. Saturn is like creating new foundations for me. This sounds fun. And then at the end of it, I was like,
Also,
I
that's a
did not
domiciled
listen.
Saturn.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
not listen to your
yeah.
plan. We were in agreement, and I fucked up. Probably,
That's real as fuck.
probably that's what happened.
Cody's Saturn return got him together.
That's good.
Oh.
Like, he came out of that Saturn return a man.
He became a man
And
that
like
day.
I remember this very distinct thing happening where I'm like, wait, when did you become more responsible than me?
When did you become a responsible
Ooh.
person? That's so funny.
So confused. I was like, how are you like suddenly doing like stay on top of all the chores and laundry, and I'm the one that doesn't know anything going on.
Damn, this is so weird. So I just tried to pull up the chart for this moment, and then AstroSeek was like, "Sorry, temporary server overload." Rude. Rude.
Whoa.
Mercury retrograde.
Mercury's
Mercury
Gatorade.
retrograde. This is my first Mercury retrograde issue. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe as like a very Mercurian person, this Mercury retrograde has just made me fucking depressed. Dee. Um, great. Do you? I guess like since you just finished your Saturn return, like what has it been like coming fresh out of it?
I feel like I'm definitely still in the integration. And like I feel like it will take me years to like fully integrate it. But a lot of meaning really crystallized right at the end. Um and I definitely like saw a lot of things a lot more clearly. Like there were certain topics I was like dancing with throughout my Saturn return. I definitely like it I can that's why I can fully see like having an early degree Saturn how you would be like coasting through it and then just realize like wait what did I actually learn? What actually happened there? Because it happens I got to watch like all this stuff build up and be confronted with these repeating themes over and over again. And then finally like around the time it peaked like it almost reminds me of how astrologers talk about like planets being combust, like being burned up by the sun's rays whenever they enter the heart of the sun.
Yeah.
Because like it was like I felt it very intensely, but I didn't have enough distance to like have any clarity over what was going on. And then like it peaked, so it peaked like I think February of last year, and then there was a little sojourn in Saturn and Aries where I kind of got a vacation, but it didn't really feel like a vacation. The whole time I was like, I know it's coming. I feel it. I feel her like breathing down my neck. And then whenever it came back from like Saturn to, or from like September to like February, I think.
Yeah.
Then like the math really started mathing. And so like I do feel like I kind of it's still hard to put into words. I feel like I have my idea of what my Saturn return was about now, but I still feel like it does not feel like anything's been completed.
Yeah.
Like at all.
I feel like for me, so like in the beginning of the pandemic, right? So like that was literally March. That was exactly when Aquarius or Saturn moved into Aquarius. It was
Wow.
lockdown immediately. And so in Placidus, Aquarius is in my 4th house. So that definitely changed my sense of home. I was staying downtown at my boyfriend's place when he had roommates and stuff. And when lockdown happened, like this was when everyone was in big fear, right? We had no idea what was going on. We don't know like how this thing exists. Is it airborne? Like this was when everyone was like Lysoling their freaking grocery bags. I don't know if you guys remember that. And like the toilet paper craze. It was so insane. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm downtown. I don't want to bring this whatever virus is going on to my parents who are like, were they already 60 at this time? Yes. 20? Right? They're 65, 60. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, they're old. Like, they're fine. They're very healthy people. But I was like, it was such a panic. I was like, I don't want to risk this. So I stayed with that man and his roommates instead. So like my whole life got flipped around immediately. And at the same time, it gave me a preview of like things that I wanted. So things were happy and easy because I was like, roads are empty. I like it. Like post-apocalyptic world. Okay, like, and I'm downtown. Like delivery's easy, food is available. It wasn't a problem until it became a problem. So
That was kind of how mine started too. It was like initially this is kind of introvert heaven. I'm
right.
kind of
Oh,
good right
yeah.
now.
like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like, I only need to hang out with the people I need to hang out. I'm on Zoom meetings all day. I don't need to leave. I'm not mad. I'm not that mad about this. Obviously, obviously there were a lot of bad things going on at the time, but I think like it was like my fourth house, and then once I moved into my fifth house, it definitely made me confront a lot of things about creativity and my sense of like, I guess, like joy and also purpose in a way, because I was like, as a creative person, do I want to stay in like, I don't know, environments, like do I want to stay in a corporate environment? Do I, want to stay working for somebody else instead, and then being so tired that I can't even do things that I want anymore? So that was definitely the thing that like I was confronted with during my Saturn return, and like having to really come to terms with that was really hard. And because it was like, it was so easy, and I was in like a very cushy job, like I had really good benefits, and I was getting money for like my office and stuff. And I think honestly it was when Saturn moved into Pisces, which is like our house of health, that's when shit like started really hitting the fan for me. So the double whammy of my like creativity and then health, I'm just like, how do I figure this out? What do you mean I need to still integrate both? No.
That's so funny because I think it was Sam, who goes by, was it the financial witch on Threads? She has talked about how like that like next sign that Saturn moves into right next to your Saturn is actually like completely
Ooh.
underrated as like a harder struggle than the Saturn return itself. But the other thing from what you're saying that I really like wanted to like mention is that I love how having Saturn in your fifth house forces you to like get serious about protecting your pleasure. And that feels like so Libra and so
Wait,
Venusian.
that's so funny. I also bought like so many toys in that time too. I was like, I have money. I gotta buy things for my pleasure. I was so serious about that. That is so tea.
Because Daddy Saturn said so.
Daddy Saturn said, invest in your joy. Widowy. What was I thinking? So I think that's really interesting, because then like if I think about it, like Saturn was, he's the guy who makes the plans. So he's like, okay, so this is the few years where like this should be like, how can we, Daddy Saturn kind of spinning, how do we like look at, I guess, like returns, like planet returns in a like relational aspect? I really like to look at planets as like people in my life, like guardians in my life, or like aunts and uncles in like a community that like helps to provide something for my growth. So how do we look at like um our Saturn return?
Something I've mentioned before, I think during one of your streams, was I like to view Saturn as like the sensei in Karate Kid.
Yes.
So it's like definitely teacher, grandpa archetype, where it's just like, I'm just gonna do whatever he tells me to do, and I'll be better off for it, hopefully.
Get my hands on the wheel. So how do
It's
you
funny
like,
because when I think about it in like a Mr. Miyagi context, I'm like, but he also makes you figure things out yourself.
yeah.
Because like one thing I would
Yeah.
say as far as like viewing the Saturn return and returns in general relationally is like as my Saturn return was creeping up, like I had been scared of it for a while. And I finally realized that like, I would be less scared of it if I had any kind of relationship with Saturn. That like Saturnine energy was something that I did not feel connected to or trust in any way. And I was like, "Oh, I need to like apprentice to the god Saturn, to like this planetary ancestor." I like how Ariana Felix, formerly the Dream Mommy, calls them that,
Oh my god, yeah, I
planetary
haven't seen her work
ancestors.
in a while.
And so like I made like a vow to Saturn on the Kazemi in Aquarius and was like, look, I will be a good little student over the next 3 years. And I really am going to take this seriously and really going to like surrender to your teaching. Like, I just want to say that I respect you. And whatever happens in the future, I'm doing my best.
Please be nice to me.
Doing my best. And like, it really did help. I felt like less attacked. And when something came up, I felt like that I identified as being part of my Saturn return, like whether intuitively or like whatever. I had someone to go to. I had like this archetype and this like God that I was getting to know to be like, all right, I'm really stuck and I'm really suffering. Like, what advice have you got for me?
So like so I look at Saturn like, okay, Saturn's visiting this house, that means like, or the sign, that's the theme that like the current Saturn is gonna guide us through. So like when it's like on top of our natal Saturn, does that mean that it's like we have double the impact, or this should feel a little bit more natural to us because we have that in our chart? Like, like what does that mean when like do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like it really is a time for reevaluating like your specific relationship with that planet based on your nativity, like based on like because it's almost like you can look at the placements in your chart as like inner parts or parts of your personality. And so it's like being and especially with the Saturn return because of the themes of Saturn, I think it's a lot of like being asked to consider the bad habits you've picked up around that certain way of applying Saturn energy, which I felt very acutely as a Pisces Saturn, because Saturn is not very comfortable there. It does not create good boundaries very well in Pisces.
So it's like a review.
And I started noticing all of these. Yeah, very much so.
Hold on, someone in the chats. James. Bro just got swimming goggles on. Hi. Why you hating? Why you mad? These are not... But it's true. I do wear these outside when it's like... to hide from the elements, especially when it's like... When it was winter and it was freezing cold. These are my protection goggles.
Dude, hell yeah.
These ward me from the evil of the elements. They are blue for a reason.
Dude, no, glasses is protection, is energetic protection too.
Glasses and bangs. These are my energetic protection.
Real.
Okay, so we look at signs moving through houses. Okay, I love like there's a new person I started following on Threads too, and they were able to. Damn it! I'm gonna turn that off. That was so freaky. Gray just missed it. I just turned into... There was just fireworks for no reason. Oh, did you see that? Ooh. I think that actually showed up on the regular screen.
No reason.
No reason. Oh, God. So I like to look at the planets and, like, our natal chart. Well, let me pull up the chart for today, actually. I like to look at charts as, like, a stage. And the planets are actors, and the signs are the characters that they're playing, and the houses are the sets. So some places are a lot more familiar and comfortable. That's why we have like domiciles and like homicides. What's the other word? Not homicide. when they're like... They're in a happy place.
Domicile or like exalted?
Dignified. Okay. Double homicide, literally. Dignified. Yeah, I think that's
exalted is also correct. There's like domicile and exalted, and that is both under the header of dignified.
Yeah.
So exalted probably was what you were looking for.
I think exalted
there.
is what I was looking for, yeah. Because domicile means... What does that mean? Okay, BRB duck. Talk to you later.
It means like home sign.
Okay, home sign is domicile. For a while, I thought domicile was bad just because it sounded derogatory.
It is like an intense word.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't sound, yeah.
Domicile.
And ancient astrology was intense, so that makes some sense.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, does that mean they don't like it there? Like, what do you mean?
Like, anytime someone quotes that, like, Valence guy, I don't know why I can't remember his first name. I'm just always like... cut it. I don't like that energy.
I don't know who that man is, but
Although
we don't
he
like
do
it.
be right sometimes.
Damn, I hate it when men are right.
Like,
I hate it when men are right.
like I think Saturn is supposed to, I forget, like there's planetary joys and all and these specific words for the houses that they're comfortable in and not, and I forget the word for when it's not comfortable in a house. But it's Saturn is like not, it's not good to have Saturn in your sixth house of like health and
Ooh.
daily. I also early in my Saturn return I found out that that the sixth house is associated with slavery.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the day, it was
And
slavery.
I was like, wait. Well, that doesn't sound good. Like, it made me even more nervous about my Saturn return.
Yeah, because it's like because like service, right? And that's why it's like the house of like your job, because things that you don't typically want to do, but also like keeping your house in a way. Birth time for me is 8:45 p.m. Do you know how to look up your chart, Mr. Joe? Right now, I just pulled up a chart. I used what is this? Astro-charts.com. It's a cuter website.
Whoa.
God, I may need to close Discord and come back because my screen is frozen.
Oopsies.
And you guys are cutting out.
Oh no.
I will be right back.
Okay.
It looks like there's a huge cluster in that chart you pulled up.
Yeah. So let's zoom in on this. So this is today's chart, and I pulled it up at like 6:11 p.m. my time. And so the ascendant is in Virgo. So every time at 6 it is Virgo, I guess, Virgo rising here in Toronto. I pulled up the chart from Hello Gray, welcome back.
Yay.
Oh, let me pull the chart. Let me send the chart in here in our chat so you can see it. Nope, that's stupid. Can I just do this? Can I send you this link and it'll show up? No, that's horrifying.
Oh wait, it worked though.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. Wow, it's all clustered.
It's all on the
right
right
side.
Yeah. Oh, widowy. So that's today's chart. And
Whoa.
so the sign, so last time I pulled up the chart for Cosmos and T for when I first like aired, it was also Virgo rising. So 6 p.m. in Toronto will always have a Virgo rising baby, apparently.
I guess so.
I guess so. So the thing with rising signs, so for a long time I did not understand what the frick rising meant, and it means that's where the horizon is in the area, which is like so confusing, but I guess like sky math, like it's, I can't, that's none of my business. And it's where the land and the sky and the land meet. Essentially, that sounds so esoteric, but that's just literally it. I don't know why my tarot reading bot still pops up. There's no tarot in this, is there? Anyway,
I recently, like last year, had to get someone to explain to me, like I'm 5, how the chart maps onto the earth and the heavens, and then I finally got it, and I was like, it makes sense.
Can you share with the class? I think I would love to understand that.
Yes, it's like it's supposed to be like if you were literally holding the chart out, looking at the horizon, you know, ground here, sky here. That's how it is.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because like, well, I mean, like if we're looking at the stars. Oh my god, I just fucking swallowed my tongue.
I was looking at, like, instead of holding the chart up, I was looking at it as if you held the chart like the paper flat, and I was like,
yeah, but like the sky is in a dome because we are in a dome. Dee. Oh my god, there's so much happening in this chart. There's always so much happening in charts all the time. There's always all the planets all the time. But this season, all the planets are all in that one right-hand area. It's not always like this. So Sagittarius right now is in our 3rd house. Should I have to pull up this map to show as a Libra rising instead? I think that makes more sense. Let me move this chart around. Does that mean I have to move it up like an hour? How does that work?
I think so, right? Because that'd be after Virgo rising?
Yeah. Let's see. Do you think an hour would be enough? Let's do 7:30.
One would think.
No, okay. Let's do 8. I was close. How do you guys feel about like the house as a stage? Excuse me, the planets as like the character, and then the sign as the character and the planet as the actor acting out. Do you feel like
That
that's
makes
accurate?
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I always think of I don't know, I kind of like sometimes I forget who started making me think about it like this. It may have been Sam also. But someone had also described like these signs as territories. And when I got into like because I used to think of like the houses as territories. And when you think about like Austin Coppock's work and how like for each of the every like 10 decans is another or every 10 degrees is another decan that there are like three faces of every side. It is kind of like a region that you're traversing where the terrain
Mm.
slightly changes from the beginning of a side to the end of a side.
I am still like trying to understand like decans too. Like that is new territory for me. I do find it interesting
Yeah,
that
me too.
like there's so many different facets to like just being in a sign itself. Like astrology is like the craziest sky math. Ooh, I like the terrain analogy. Yeah, that's what
So
Marion just
much
said.
math.
Um, so like I guess like with more terrain, I added link to my chart in selfie since it represents me in a way. Nice, thank you. We can look it up in a second. But can you tell me more about like the terrain territory aspect because it is like land? So like how do the decans in my mind I always say it decanned. How do the decans like I guess progress? Is it the same throughout each sign in the way that like they go from 0 degree to like the 30th degree, or do because obviously they all have their different properties, like they have a different whatever, but like do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, every sign represents kind of a hero's journey of trying to learn some specific theme. Um, but in terms of like territory as an analogy specifically, I think about how like our identity and like creates our inner world, which creates our outer world, that like we are as people both like personalities and also territories with specific like terrain and textures and all these things. So like there are certain like textures and objects and stuff associated with each like sign too. They're like all placed within a very specific like tangible world.
Mm.
Mm.
I like looking at it. I like how you said that like each sign is like its own hero's journey. So
Ooh,
that
yeah.
really makes sense to me. Like I definitely want to look at like how.
Ooh, there's one of my favorite astrologers, Joe Underhill O'Neill. Forget they changed their last name in the last couple of years, and I sometimes forget it. I'm so sorry. But they have this whole approach to astrology called waymaking, especially like they work with a lot of 12th housers and stuff. And like one of their approaches is to like treat your 12th house like as a territory and with like that contains a specific guide. And your whatever planets you have there, or if you don't have planets there, just like the sign in general represents like what kind of guide is waiting for you there. So I think like
Mm.
their ideas around waymaking have really informed how I see all that stuff a lot.
I like that. Like I really love looking at the stars as just like guides in the sky. Um, but also this chart, I love this chart because it looks like a freaking arrow. It looks like
Ooh,
an arrow.
yeah.
Hold on, let me put it in the chat for you, Bray. Did I copy that? Paste. Yay! It's an
I just
arrow.
want okay, it is I just want to clarify really quick. The astrologer I was talking about is Joe O'Neill, and
Joe O'Neill.
their username on Instagram is Joe Maker of Ways. If
Cool!
anyone wants to look them up later.
Maker of ways. I love that. Marion says Pisces like Atlantis. I love that. No, I do. I like that because, like, for me, like Piscean
Literally.
people are very like dreamy, but they also make shit happen. They are the Delulu that has the Solulu. Like my
Yes, and it
Piscean
makes so
friends.
much sense when you think about like Virgo and Pisces being
Mm.
opposed. That like they both are like
Mm.
world builders in opposite but complementary ways.
Oh, interesting. I never looked at a Virgo as a world builder, even though I am. And then we look at Beyonce. Beyonce is a world builder. Beyonce is a Virgo. So, no, you're right. I think like Virgo
It's
is
that
more
like
intricate.
exalted Mercury,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that like master of the material realm vibes that I get from Virgo.
Okay.
I see a lot of gardening energy where it's like there's a lot of having to take care of the little stuff with gardening. And that's like a whole ecosystem
Yes.
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
I think of gardening for like Tauruses because they are bulls. But I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate. So I'm looking at our like this chart right now. We have what Chiron is leaving Aries. How long? How long does Chiron stay in a sign? Don't know.
I know that it moved there, I think in 2022.
Damn, it be dead in a while.
It
Chiron.
takes a
It
while.
takes a while. Chiron is in Aries, and then we also have what Mars, Saturn, and a Neptune. So we have four. There's like an asteroid and three planets, and then behind it we have Pisces, Sun, Mercury. Mercury and Mars always confuse me. I'm like, who is who? Which is a funny mercurial thing to do, I think. Mercury, Mars, the what is that? Is that the North Node? And then wait, no, that's Venus in Aries. Venus is in Aries right now. I get these fucking hieroglyphics mixed up. Marion says Virgos can build worlds because they know logistics. Yes, you right. Period. It is
Ugh.
logistics. So Kelly, with Saturn there in like your Saturn return, how are you feeling these other like all of these other planets like on top of you? Like does
Oh,
it feel like
yeah.
pressure? Is it kind of like I'm wondering if it feels like a bunch of ants crowded in a room excited to be like, this is what you need to do now.
So far, it's been pretty good. I mean, like, heading into this year, I think I had a Mars return and a Venus return prior to this starting. So I was like,
Oh.
okay, that's cool. And my Mars and Saturn are in mutual reception, which is great, I think. So I'm like, okay, that's looking good. Last year, when Saturn was in Aries from like May to September-ish, I definitely felt this energy of like needing to do a lot. And I'm kind of a planning person, but this was like, nope, no time. No time for plans, just do the thing. And then once you do that thing, do the next thing. So it was like no time to like organize things around myself. And
Yeah.
so I knew that energy was coming again. And I feel like Venus and Aries is just like blasting it off even more. So
Mm.
I feel like that's still going to hit probably going into April, but so far it just seems like it's this energy that's being supercharged. Seems good, but yeah, it's wild. It's like everything is happening so much faster. The plans I thought were going to take years, it's like, oh, they're here now. So
I feel the same way,
yeah.
honestly, that like that's with I think last year with when Aries moved into Saturn, like before that actually happened, that's when I started Valentine's from Heaven, but then like so many things like I was in the gym more by myself and I felt like a lot more capable of doing things on my own and then a bunch of other shit, but when Saturn moved into Aries this time around was definitely like my podcasts and just like all of these being like,
Mm.
who cares about planning? Just fucking do it. And I'm like, oh my god,
Dude, I
okay.
felt that energy last year too. Like
Yeah.
I was gonna say that Kelly was talking that that's not even my Saturn, but I felt that like energy. And as soon as Saturn and Neptune moved back into Aries this year, I felt it again. And I've had to do some very intentional work around relaxing
I'm
because
like,
it's something
oh.
I'm not good at in general.
Mm. And I wonder, like, cause like Kelly, you're a Sag rising, right? Sorry, not rising. Sorry,
Uh,
Sag sun.
Sure.
yes.
So like, and then your Venus is also in Sagittarius.
In
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Okay. What
Yes.
else do you have in Sag? Cause you have a Sag like stellium, right?
Mercury and Pluto.
Ooh.
Yeah, I realized recently I feel like the Mercury and Pluto and Sagittarius gives this like almost like private investigator energy of like wanting to know so
Oh
much
yeah.
stuff. And I had to kind of work
Oh.
through that. It was kind of interesting. And also
Oh.
like, I don't know, I had like a good period of my life where I identified more with the Jupiter side of things. Just because I thought, oh yeah, that's nice, lucky
Yeah.
Sagittarius energy, so
Yeah.
optimistic. And then in recent years, I was like, wait, there's like a lot of Saturn energy going on here, a lot of like
Yeah.
Scorpio-esque influence,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been interesting integrating all that, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I
Marian's.
always remember about your chart is how much like Saturn energy there is.
That's so interesting. Like I'm still like getting to know Saturn, and I'm only learning to like that Saturn loves us, and I'm like, why? Um, Marion says
Why are
Loki
you doing
love
it
the
like
Sat
that?
Aries energy, and then like emoji of running, and then air behind them. Literally
Yeah.
That's great.
running.
And
Um,
as a Leo, you would.
yeah, right. I find that like the sun what the fire energy is like giving everyone, I guess, like progress, like it's burning the bridges, but also like it's mostly like these are old bridges that have been held up, and that's actually in the way instead of helping us.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the vibe that I'm getting, which is so fun. I love it.
It definitely felt like freedom immediately, and
Mm.
partly probably because those last degrees of Pisces were so rough.
Yeah.
Mm,
Marion
Like
said
just like the
wee.
muddiness of it. Like
so
you
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about
foggy.
territory and climate, there was a like muddy muckiness to those last degrees of Pisces that I never want to see again.
Literally, it definitely felt like lotus in the mud. Like you cannot have a lotus bloom without the mud, but it's like, please, it's
Even I
stuffy.
don't want it.
I need air.
You know, it's funny, like we were talking about Libra being the place where Saturn exalts, and I feel like we are kind of like Saturn's like whiny favorite childs. Sometimes. Do you
Yeah.
ever children? No.
As hell, the way that the Ace of Wands popped up for that, being like, are
No.
we gonna get whipped, or are we being like, no, we can do whatever we want because we're the favorite?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you guys feel like? So I don't really know much. Like as I said, like I'm just finding out that like Saturn loves being in the sign of Libra. What does that mean for you? Like how has that shown up in your life as a Libra rises and rising in like your respective signs, your Venuses and your respective signs?
I feel like because the first house is like, you know, partly just like your literal body. Um the most obvious way that's shown up a lot of my life is like I had like kind of an icy exterior. Like kind of like
Mm,
removed, like watchful. And people always used to tell me a lot that I had a really intimidating energy, which I thought was weird
yeah.
because eternally I experienced myself as like a bubbly Cancer Gemini, like I'm harmless.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like that. I feel like I am always judging, weighing things, and like that. There's like a Saturnian undertone to that that really comes through.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
a really good way of putting it. Because I experienced something pretty similar growing up where like I was always super friendly. But then sometimes, yeah, that like intimidating energy comes out where like I'm just existing, but then people were like, "Oh, don't mess with that lady. Like she means business." And it's
Yeah.
just me. I'm not doing anything crazy.
I'm just
But
hanging
then
out.
there's
Yeah.
like a lot of seriousness. Or like when I was younger, I felt like I had more of a stick up my butt with like being very type A, or like there's a lot of discipline with Saturn. Like I feel like a lot of people that are Saturn ruled, they can be like almost like overachieving because they just have all their stuff together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
lots of that.
That's so
Yeah, Saturn
interesting.
doesn't let his children play things fast and loose at all. I think
So
like
rude.
I somewhere I read that like Saturn ruled people are just like given very little room to make mistakes in life. That like anytime they make a mistake, they
Mm.
get punished for it immediately. So they learn that like, okay, I need my shit together, collated, ducks in a row before I approach anything.
Okay, wait, that's so interesting. Okay, so I have two things to say to that. One, I thought this was me being a Virgo, so I think that's why it was been a hard time for me, like trying to understand that like Saturn has also been up my ass. I thought that like, because the
Mm.
stereotypical Virgo is like perfectionist and anal, not that way. But anyway, so like there's that thing, and then what you just said, Gray, about like having their ducks in a row and Saturn like coming to whoop you in your ass if you like make a mistake. So I know someone who is a Libra sun who has like this theory. Hello, Ang. Welcome. How's it going? We are hanging out with my friends
Yay.
Gray and Kelly. Ang is my cousin. She's just saying hello in the chat. Hello, guests. We are all Libra risings and talking about what it means to be a Libra. Right now, we're talking about what it means for like to be Saturn loving us. Did you know that Saturn loves Libras? That's something I'm learning this year. Also, my chain is like glowing. Um, I know somebody who is a Libra sun, and they have like this thing where if they start gloating or they start getting too big headed, that Saturn, or not, they don't say Saturn, but they were like, they know that the world or the universe will come back and like correct them immediately. And to me, I'm just like,
Nope.
but is that a limiting belief? Me as a Leo Venus, I'm like,
Mm.
more is more. Why are you restricting yourself? Why are you believing?
Yeah, me is like a Jupiter and Sag is like, I don't claim that
Oh,
energy.
yeah, for real.
I'm like, what do you
I'm
mean? Who's
lucky as
coming
hell.
to
I don't know
correct
what
me?
any of you guys are talking about.
Oh my god, that's why you all are so captivating. Leo rising, Libra rising, baby, Libra. I have a Leo Venus, so that's why my Libra shows up in that way. Um, LMAO, he tee. It's in the freaking title, bruh. What is the title? Let me scroll. Let me double check. Imagine Libra rising takeover, but still your psychopathy. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, do you find that like I know you just said that like Saturn is like very quick to correct, but like I do find that like we're able to take our space, and it's like I don't find that Saturn humbles me. I find that like Saturn like just keeps like pushing me in the right direction, and it shows me like you're literally
Mm.
not supposed to be here. Like if I'm
Yeah.
overdoing something somewhere else, I don't feel that I get like punished for that in the way that like my Libra sun friend is just like the universe comes to humble me, and I'm just like, don't listen to the haters, bro. That's literally all I said. I was
Yeah,
like,
no, I
blah.
very much like resonate with that description of just feeling like I feel like it's a productive energy when it
Yeah.
happens. It may not always feel great, but it feels like constructive. And I think part of that too is that like I am a day chart baby. If you were born while the sun was above the horizon, it means like Saturn is like your malefic of sect. It's like the malefic that's on your team. So it's
Mm.
probably like you're gonna experience that energy to be more constructive. Even if you don't always like it, than maybe like Mars per se.
Mm. Ang just said I just opened your live as a cook. Okay, what you cooking? Um, what was I thinking? Yeah, I
May
think
also actually be though just the fact that we're Libra risings that we feel that way about Saturn though. Like maybe it is the fact that that's a place where Saturn is comfortable, and Libra is so much about like finding that truth, that like justice, truth, however you want to think about it, that like very nuanced perspective that takes all of these other limiting factors into consideration. That when Saturn is like, here's a limiting factor, we're like, thanks, man. I wasn't even looking at that one.
yeah. And like I think for me, like I have my Leo Venus, and like I loved, and like also my Mercury and Jupiter. I love to play along the edges of things, and I love to like push the boundaries of stuff. And I think this is like as a Libra rising, our purpose is to know ourselves through feedback, right? So as a Libra sun, I feel like that's a completely different experience. The way that
Yeah.
Saturn communicates with them, like maybe Saturn is a little bit more direct with us as Libra risings. I don't really know. And
Yeah.
I think like, oh, I had something I forgot. I don't know. Like I think it is also learning that feedback doesn't mean I had to Google malefic, big out word. Hello, Doxy. Welcome back. Yeah. So, can you please share with the chat what does malefic mean? It's all these big out words too. I'm just like, I know what it means, but I also don't. Um, and like, I think,
I don't know like exactly what the technical astrological definition is, but the way I like to think about it is like in astrology they're the benefics, like Jupiter and Venus, and they're known to like grow or expand things. And the malefics are known to like contract or edit or reduce things.
Mm.
And
malefics.
like a lot of people think because of the root words that malefic means
Right.
bad and benefic means good, but
Mm-hmm.
actually like if you to me like the best way to understand it is looking at like Jupiter and Saturn because they're both like kind of
Mm.
they're not quite outer planets, they're on the edge of our personal planets, they're close to being transpersonal. And like it's kind of like the way I like to think of it is Jupiter is the test of scale. When you scale something that's not well
Mm.
built, it falls apart, entropy takes
Ooh.
over and destroys the system.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Saturn is the test of contraction. Whenever like you create something that's not built to like essentially scale down, that's not built to function like in environments that aren't supporting like its growth and optimal functioning, like it will fall apart. You need something that can survive in harsh environments. So like
That was
some
so
people
tea.
and like I got into some like real fucking arguments with people whenever Jupiter was about to go into Cancer because they're like, "Oh, it's an exalted Jupiter and like that's only good. That's going to be great for all of us." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Maybe I don't think so.
More is
I don't
more
think that's how it's
everything.
going to work."
Yeah. More is more,
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
good. Disabled Mystic, hello, welcome. Thank you for your first time chat. The sun does
You
not like
must be.
Libra. Ooh. Oh my god, that's a good way of understanding Jupiter. Yeah, that really like opened my mind about how what Jupiter means. That like creating structures to like expand. Hold on. Doxy just said relating to planets Saturn and Mars traditionally considered to have an unfavorable experience. That is the definition of malefic. And I keep thinking of the character malevolence,
Yes.
maleficent. Yeah. Um, and I think like in the Saturn thing, right? Of like, do you have the structures to, I guess like bear down and distribute and like what is it like steep into it. Maybe that is the thing where like my Libra friend is like they feel like their sense of like inflation of their ego inflation is false, so because of that fear in itself it isn't able to continue in that growth, and that's why they feel
Mm.
like the universe is like hitting them back, be like reality check bitch. But then for me I'm like no, like I believe my business is real, so like the reality checks me and it proves to me that that belief is true. A
Sounds like a
lessons
lot
of
of tower
Uh,
energy where like if that foundation's legit, then it could probably continue that way. Yeah.
ooh, I love that.
it's funny because the Tower is like the Mars ruled card,
I
Ooh,
didn't know that.
interesting.
martial energy.
Marsh.
But one of my keywords for Saturn and for Capricorns, because I feel like it works really well for both of them, is intrepid. I feel like it makes
Ooh.
more sense for
What?
Capricorn because it like to me that word is like not just like courageous but also adventurous. Like and when you think
Intrepid.
about Capricorn energy, a Saturn ruled sign, like it wants to swim down to the depths and bring back the jewels to the highest mountain. It's up for anything.
Ooh.
It wants to be able to survive in any environment and to learn like the skills and the craft necessary to make the materials available work for you. And that was like a lot of the work that I did with Saturn when I started apprenticing to her at the beginning of my Saturn return is just like learning like how can you be versatile? How can you like how can you learn to operate in environments that are not built to serve you? Uh
Mm.
yeah, that's just
Bars.
my 2 cents.
Ophi is here. Hello, my angel. She just said in the chat, she's saying hello.
Yay!
Welcome. Good morning. Damn, you wake up early. Actually,
Oh, it's
no.
so exciting. It's like the whole crew is
The
here.
whole
I
gang is
love
here.
it.
This is so fun. I'm really
Yeah.
loving this. Like, we are very exalted in Saturn in this conversation. I love it so much. Like, I love.
Because we need to rehabilitate the Libran image, man.
We need to
People think that
rehabilitate.
we're Tauruses and we are not. Also, people think Tauruses are soft and they're not too. Those are some of the creepiest fuckers on the planet.
Wait, say that again.
Tauruses are some of the creepiest fuckers on the
Why are they
planet. I shouldn't
creepy?
even like be contrasting them.
There's some tea.
Because they
I'm
have the
so curious.
arcane knowledge of the body that cannot be
Oh.
articulated, the ineffable. Like they are
Um.
the Hierophant card is ruled by Taurus, I believe. Or like Moon in
Mm.
Taurus in the Kabbalah. Something like that. I always
Oh.
link those two things together. And it is like the Hierophant is like holding this ancient knowledge that goes beyond like generations back. We've since lost whatever logic brought us to this awareness. Like now it just exists as some kind of like arcane shit that we're like, yeah, that's a thing. I don't know why and I don't know how, but that's a thing. So that's why Tauruses creep me out. Other than the fact that my South Node is in
That's so
Taurus in the
fucking
eighth
funny.
house, which is also
Ooh, oh.
You're what? What is in Taurus?
Interesting.
my South Node is in Taurus in the eighth house.
Oh, that's your creepy guy. Aw, thanks for the gifted,
Ugh.
Doxy. Wait, I thought I fixed that. Oh my god, can I reset that? So I have this alert that shows up when someone gifts something, and so for a while I didn't see that it said gifted somebody the username, and I would just think that someone was like subbing to me, and I'm like, why can't I fucking read? Oh, thanks for the 2 gifted. Hold on, let me fix this.
Yeah, I don't know how any of that works, so I'm excited.
Um, refresh. Okay, should be fine. Yay. Okay. Anyways, what were we just talking about? I got distracted.
Your South Node
In Taurus?
Taurus
Oh
in the
yeah, we
eighth
were
house.
talking about Tauruses and how we need to
Yeah.
rehabilitate the image of Libras as fluffy and all of these things. Like, because also Libra is like morning star Venus. I still don't know
Mm.
as much as I wish I did about the Venus cycle. And like, my God, that's like as our ruling plan. That's a whole thing we could get into.
Oh, I love Venus.
Like it has like a full moon cycle and a new moon cycle. There's all this shit.
Ooh.
But like Libra is like the more masculine aspect of Venus is like one way to put it.
Oh.
But like morning star Venus is like, yeah, like a little bit dark, a little bit, well, I don't know, dark's
Because,
actually
like,
the
he's
word that
literally
would
the brightest
probably
star in the sky.
correspond with evening star Venus.
Yeah, I don't...
Also, Lucifer
Mhm.
was the morning star. I think that's why I always
Exactly.
think of morning star Venus as a little evil.
But I
And
love
there's
it.
that balance of like the duality, you know, you need the dark and the light, and sometimes it's like you're building the harmony, and sometimes you're cutting stuff down, you know, like the
Exactly.
social
Ooh,
justice
that
side of Libra.
I feel like
yeah, that reminds
my...
me too. Like Stephen,
Oh, no. I was just saying, like, my perception of
Stephen Forrest,
Lucifer
one of
is that
my
he's a social justice warrior. He's just like, things are weird. I need to help the humans. I don't really know what's going
he
on
kind of
down there.
is though.
That's my perception of that
bit.
man.
Another thing that like another description I really like of Libra was something that it's like I think an evolutionary astrologer Stephen Forrest said about how
Ooh,
like
yeah.
when he thinks of Libra, he thinks of like violin strings. They have to be tight enough to make the proper noise.
Oh.
But they also can't be too tight or they snap. So Libra's always trying to find that's why Libra seeks harmony. And that also is to me what highlights why Saturn is exalted in Libra. Because in order to survive in the harshest environments, you have to learn how to hold that perfectly taut state where you are like mobilized and responsive, but you're not over responsive. You're not just overreacting to everything. That's why Libras are always trying to find our chill, as we're trying to be
Yeah.
operating at maximum capacity.
No, I love that. Because, like, Because, like, the balance also means, like, standing up for other people. And sometimes it's like, okay, how do I not create too much tension by, like, wanting things to be equal? And yeah, that it's so stressful. Doxy's, like, fucking stressed out. Thank you for the gifted, Doxy. I do find that, like, and also, like, for people who are neurodivergent and who have a tendency to be like, what's the word where we're like justice, where we seek justice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we kind of see when things are wrong, and then we hold, like, at least for me, I hold like a very tight grip. I'm like, well, like, this isn't right and things are wrong here, like things need to be fixed ASAP, and that creates so much disharmony. So I feel like that is a very, like, my Saturnian lesson of, like, I guess, like, it's karma also, like believing that like things will come to fruition when they need to, and that I don't need to be that like hand of justice to like force things to happen, and letting
Dude,
time
is
come
that
to
our
play.
Aries descendant?
Ooh, yeah.
Is that what's going
That's
on?
interesting.
Because I feel like
Mm.
I resonate a lot with that. And it makes me think of how, like, those two things are always showing up in our chart. Because, like, I think of the descendant, whether this is correct or not, I think of the descendant as, like, not just the type of partners you attract, but also, like, the thing that your partners reflect back about you and who you are in your intimate, close relationships. Kind of like your shadow side. Because, like, I'm definitely an Aries in my one-on-one partnerships and very much in my
Yeah, me
marriage.
too.
Like being in like a 10-year relationship made me realize that I'm a lot more Aryan than I think I am. And I think that's potentially where that thing comes from for Libra risings, where like we do want to get all intense about this isn't just, we need to fix it right now. Like we kick in the Aries mode. And then it's like, wait, does it work?
But like, we're just pretty. Everything works out. The Libras is like, but also, no. Angel just changed their username to Angel. Hey, is also Ang's an Aries sun, and that is something that I always like love to see, how like quick and fast she is to like think on her feet and to be protective. Like I feel like I can turn to
Mm.
my Leo signs, like my Leo planets, to that, to being like very protective of my friendships, and like I'm ready to stand up to like fucking bullshit. I'm like, nobody treats my friend like that. But then when it comes to me, I'm like, I think it's fine. But then when it comes to like interpersonal close relationships, I'm like, I am not fucking around. Don't be stupid. Don't represent me wrong. Do you think you got the wrong idea because I'm cute? Please.
That man, that yeah, I love Aries placements in general. I just really love Aries people, and that's why.
Kelly, what
Everything you just
you have
said.
your Saturn, and what else do you have in Aries? Or is that it?
So that's it, but it is exactly conjunct my descendant in the 13th degree.
Ooh, I'm also at the
And
12th
that's the
degree.
Aries degree, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
what the
So I've been
heck?
So
dealing with those themes a lot in the last, well, probably my whole life. So I feel like that's a theme that's coming up. But
Trippy Aries.
yeah, it's definitely like that tension between, well, for sure, like people pleasing and then being like, hey, nobody's doing this thing that needs to happen. And Aries is like the person that's going to put themselves out there to do that thing
Yeah.
or to not be afraid of like being the first or to fight people because it's like, hey, that's wrong, you know? So it's been really interesting kind of having to develop those qualities over the last few years. I also have Lilith and Libra in my first house too, and I feel like there's a lot of
whoa.
like energy around the justice side, like needing to come out and being like, yeah, somebody's got to do something about this
Somebody's
kind of
gotta do
stuff,
something. That's so funny.
you know? But I was
Damn.
just
That's
so
cool as
nice
hell.
and friendly, and I was like, I don't want to step on toes, and now I'm like, I will fight people. I'd prefer not to, but that's there now. Thanks,
I
Saturn.
love what you said about like the fear of going first. That feels
Mm,
like a good key thing to hone in on for Saturn and Aries. It's like that is like a
yeah.
scary position to be in when there's no precedent and you have to have so much self-trust to
Yes.
operate in that space.
I feel like I'm hoping what I would be seeing within this next transit is just a lot of people starting new things or like a lot of young people kind of like taking initiative or people doing things that haven't been done before, whether that's just like fun new stuff or if it's they're taking on issues that like nobody is really fighting currently. I feel like that could be a positive side to that transit. I'm hoping at least. That'd
Uh,
be cool.
yeah, definitely. And you really have been a good example of that, like not being afraid to go first over the last year with all of the new things that you've been like. It has amazed me how you have just like slingshotted yourself into these new things like so
Yeah.
seamlessly. Whereas I feel like I sit back and I either it's all or nothing with me. I either like sit back and overthink it for a long time, or I just like go in without thinking, and neither is like a functional response to reality. So I've
Mm,
really admired how like you just like put yourself in those environments, you know when you're ready, you don't hesitate, you go in. And like, yeah, I really admire that.
Oh,
Yeah, Kelly's
that's
doing
so
this
sweet.
challenge. Kelly's doing a challenge of like, how many rejections are you trying to get, Kelly?
Yeah. 760 for the year,
So
which
two
is a
rejections a
lot.
day, right?
Threats, yeah. Yeah, I haven't been putting like a daily quota on that. Just I have plans. Like there's one that's pretty close where once I finish it, I'll probably be able to rake in a few hundred pretty easily. And it's actually crazy because I wanted to get 760 actual rejections, not just attempts. And like it's hard because most of them are going through. Like they're not getting rejected.
You're like,
So it's
That's the most
crazy.
Libra-rising shit
seems
about you,
like I'm
Kelly.
someone's
Right?
favorite.
It's also like the most Sagittarian thing about you.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
so
it's so
true.
Every
lucky.
Sagittarius I know is that way.
Just like going for it and be like, I guess it's happening.
I guess
Ang's in
it's
the
all
chat.
It
happening.
worked out. Oops.
Ang saying that like off topic, Gray Loki looks like Vanilla Mace. Gray, do you know who Vanilla Mace is? I love Vanilla. Vanilla's mom here.
No, I
Even
feel
though
like
Vanilla's
that
like your age
out.
probably. Vanilla Mace is like is the reason why I went on Twitch. Sorry, bonk. She's a TikTok creator and she's also a Twitch streamer and she's just really funny
Wait,
and really
I
hot.
see.
And you guys are both bald and have big ass eyes. Gray has blue eyes though, so that's one big difference. Yes, that is Kelly. Ang is like, oh my god, that's Kelly. I remember that chat about
Yeah.
um the rejection challenge. And Mr. Joe said, I cannot fight people. I am afraid of winning and getting sued for damages. Damn. Okay, Mr.
I have
Joe.
that same fear. I would have like intrusive thoughts of like it would start with like, oh, what if this like thing goes wrong with this person and then we get into an argument and then they're like, I'm gonna take you to court and then I'm
No.
like in court or something, you
That's so
know?
American.
I would have those fears all the time and then I don't know, there was some stuff that happened over the last few years where like I was put in really tough situations where I kind of had to put up that fight, I guess. And then I
Mm.
was like, oh, I did it. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's a lot of paperwork, just like series of steps, and then it's just like you just worry about one thing at a time. And it's a lot of energy. I feel like people definitely have to pick and choose their battles, but now I'm like, oh, if I wanted to, I would. And, you know, it's like unless you want to do that, most people are really uncomfortable with like getting into that space.
Yeah. No.
So sometimes there's like that
Yeah.
intimidation factor of like if they know you're gonna bring it on, they'll be like, "Oof, do I really want to get into this?"
Yeah.
And
It
that
is
could be
just like the
nice.
fear of like,
That
oh wait.
protected me a lot of my life.
Just like
Yeah.
intimidating
Because
anybody.
people forget that Venus and Aphrodite and all the other syncretic other halves, they were getting some vengeance in myth. Like Venus is not one to play with.
Her brother is
You don't want
Aries.
to arouse her attention. Yeah.
Yeah, like those guys are basically twins. I don't think they are, but Ang says, "Great, please fall into the rabbit hole of Vanilla Mace. Vanilla's really funny. It's like her humor is top
I will.
notch.
I will
I
do
want to
so.
fight people, but they have to put hands on me first so I can say self defense. But they never put hands on me first. Sad emoji." Disabled Mystic says, "Oh, I'm scared
Dang.
of consequences, but unfortunately, that only kicks in after I got my fight on. The Aries comes in fast and loud. LOL, yeah. I always want to fight. Is that just an Aries thing? Yes, Ang. Yes,
I
Greek
think so, yeah.
mythology. Greek mythology. Have you seen Blood of Zeus? Have either of you seen Blood of Zeus on Netflix? It's a animated series. It's kind of an anime.
Whoa.
It's very
I'm
fun.
adding it to my watch list right now.
I enjoyed it. It's very Greek mythology. It loosely follows the journey of Zeus because like the way that he is like born and just like introduced into the story. It's basically Hercules. And then but other than that, like they don't call him Hercules. I was never into Greek mythology, but I'm low-key interested now. Yeah, so I was always like, I love Greek mythology growing up. I was obsessed with Zeus, and then I was like, yeah, that guy's fucking
Same.
crazy, and I love that because Big Daddy patriarchy, and I'm like, doy, ew. Me when I was younger, and then also like this was my trend. Like a lot of people who loved Greek mythology, who grew up loving Greek mythology, have fallen into astrology, which is, like,
Oh
it
wow,
makes so much
yeah.
sense. That's how I relate to the planets a lot. I'm like, oh, these are the stories. This is how I know. I recently watched one
I
of
saw
the
a
Thrawn
Threads
movies with
post
Zeus.
recently.
Sorry, go ahead. Just go ahead, Gray.
I recently saw a Threads post recently that said, if you don't know anything about Greek mythology, the only thing you really need to know is that Zeus is always the problem.
Zeus is always a
Mm,
problem. He's always fucking somebody. He's always
trifling.
pretending to be someone else, getting people pregnant. He seemed like an asshole. Yeah, he's Chaos. Have you seen Chaos? The one with what's his
I
face?
have seen that one yet.
I love. Who is that guy? What's that guy's name? Everyone's obsessed with that guy.
Jeff Goldblum?
Yes, Jeff Goldblum. I always forget his name. Is that canon? Yes. Zeus is an asshole. That is canon. At first, he saves his siblings. So like from Kronos, and Kronos is also something that I want to talk about. Something I saw on Threads, how Kronos time versus Saturnian time, where I think it's Saturnian, where like Saturnian time is like straightforward, and then Kronos time is everything all at once at
Is
the
it
same time.
Kairos?
Maybe Kairos, maybe.
That's wild.
Didn't he impregnate his daughter or something like that? Zeus. I don't
Wouldn't put it past him.
probably.
I
He
think so,
he
yeah.
raped a lot of people. He definitely did that.
A
He
lot of those gods in various pantheons were fucking their children.
yeah, like
Yeah.
everyone
They
was
were doing
fucking
what the humans were doing at the time.
yeah, exactly. Like a lot of the stories were just reflective of the current society. He seems canon, yeah. And he used to like turn into a goat to like seduce other people because he didn't want his wife to find out that he was fucking around on Earth. So he would shapeshift into animals. So that is Sky Daddy Zeus. I think that is very Jupiterian energy. More is more. More fuckery
Yeah.
also produces more possibilities.
And more children.
And more children. Yeah.
Yeah.
More responsibilities, more fuckery, you know? Oh well. Wait, I saw a story on why there's spring and summer and fall. Yes, with Lilith. No, it's not Lilith, right? What's her fucking name? Persephone. Persephone
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Hades. And that whole spending time with her mama, spending time with her man.
yeah, so I love that there's like multiple versions of that story where like there's one version where she's forced and then there's the other version where like Hades is like, "No, I'm a lover boy. What the fuck are you talking about? Like
Aw.
that's my girl." No, I love Greek mythology. I feel like you were saying something earlier, Gray. I forgot.
I'm always saying things.
I'm always saying things. I want to get into it. Yeah, no, I love it a lot. It's very fun, and I think like it's good history. It's good to know like where the people were back in the day and the storytelling that they had in place. I like it.
Yeah.
Hades being bad is just Zeus propaganda to make his brother look bad. Yes, that is so accurate. That's so tea.
Real as fuck.
That's so funny. Hades propaganda. And he's just like, I don't want to be here. Why are you guys treating me like this? My girl needs
Why
to
is
be
everyone so
on
obsessed with me?
Earth." Literally. My girl just want to be here and her mom being weird. What is up with that?
There was another story I kind of became aware of last year while I was going through my Pluto Venus transit, and it was like more Sumerian mythology. I might butcher some of the names, but it was basically about Inanna descending into the underworld to like meet her sister, and like the TLDR version was like she goes down there and kind of strips herself bare, and then once she's down there her sister like kills her, so she's dead for a few days, but then eventually she's like reborn. So there's this huge like life death life cycle that happens with that figure. And so I feel like with
Yeah.
Venus type figures, it's like there's life, but there's also the death part that people don't think about, where there's that balance with that. There always has to be
Yeah, that
both
like
sides of
myth
that
also
coin.
directly plays into the Venus cycle.
Ooh.
And I forget
Tell me more.
what part of the Venus cycle she's said to like kind of go on that underworld journey like Inanna, because when she's down in the underworld, like I think it's like
And
I
Anna
forget why
Sumerian.
she goes down to the underworld actually.
I think her
But she
sister's
goes down
like, yo,
there.
I need help or something. And she's like,
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna go
believe
visit
so. Because then she
her.
gets down there and she gets like slung on a meat hook, which is very metal. And
So
then
metal.
like I wish I could
Like
remember the name
voluntarily?
of the flies, but two not voluntarily.
Oh shit.
And she's crying, and these like two little flies
Yes.
hear her crying and are sent down to like rescue her, and their names mean something too symbolically in the myth. I'm not helping at all. Um, but then like another part of the myth that I remember, and I forget how it fits into the
Oh.
overall theme, is that like after she gets off the meat hook, the little flies help her. Someone's like, "Hey, your man is on your throne. The man that
Ooh.
you left to protect your throne, he's like
Ooh.
on it now." And she's like,
Of course. The
"No,
betrayal.
not on my watch."
Not on my watch.
And then they're like, "You gotta go back up there and do something about it." So she goes on
Mm-mm.
this whole underworld journey, and where she has like stripped of all of her like Venusianness, all of the things that
Yeah.
like add to her beauty and her majesty, and that declare her as royalty. And then she reascends, and she like gets all that shit back, and she's like, "I'm gonna go fight this man."
Oh. Disabled Mystic just said it's the Kazimi because she disappears from the sky. That's when the Venusian
Thought it
cycle.
was Kazemi, but then I thought, wouldn't that be like the reascension?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I
Nor.
need to look up more about it again. I'm really bad about like reading a bunch of shit on something just to like satisfy my curiosity and then forgetting all of it.
Literally me. I'm like, wow, that sounded so cool. What was that about? What was I learning about? Where do I place this? Where do I categorize this now? Shit. I hate that.
Yeah.
there, there's one part of that I really enjoyed too, where like those two flies or messengers, they go down and they try to talk with her sister, and she's in so much pain. She's sort of like, I don't know, like I can't remember what it
That's
is. They
what it
do this
is.
sort of mirroring thing where she's like, I'm in pain, I'm hurting, and they're like, you're hurting, you know? And they have this little dialogue exchange, but it's almost like because her pain's being mirrored back to her in a way where it's almost like she feels understood and seen. Then she grants them like a wish or something, and they're like, yo, give her her body back. Like, let her live again. And I just
Yes,
thought there
this
was
is
something
reminding
so
me of the
deep
point of the
about
myth.
that. Yeah.
Because like the sister is just her like repressed shadow. It's like the part of
Yeah.
her that is holding all those wounds that she doesn't want to face, which is why it's a lot of times like contrasted with Persephone and Hades, Cosmos and Psyche, these other stories.
Mm.
So yeah, that is the important bit. Is that the little flies are like mirroring back the sister, the shadow's pain, and like in confronting her pain, she's like, "All right, I'm ready to like put my drip back on and go fight that man."
Yes.
Aww. I love that. I would love to learn more about this myth. Like I've been seeing the name Inanna a lot, but I'm also like, I don't know anything about that. How'd you guys meet each other, by the way, if you mentioned it? Oh, yes, we all met on Threads. We all met on Threads. Gray and I
Threads.com.
met a few years ago, and I just like followed them on Threads. We just followed each other, and then we learned that we were both Libra risings and Gemini moons, and I was like, we're the same bitch. We're the same bitch, different costumes. Slay, is Threads better than X? I haven't used Twitter since it was still Twitter. So I'm going to say yes. I feel like the environment is more community like, and Twitter is just like a giant cesspool. There's too many people on there,
There's a
and there's
lot
too
going
many,
on.
like, so much bullshit. So yeah, and then Kelly, I
Dude,
might
I want to find the birth chart for
for
X
X,
because
ooh,
all I
versus
know
Twitter.
is that the birth chart, I know at least the sun and moon for Threads, and it's like a Cancer Sun Leo moon. And ever since I found that
Oh,
out, it has explained
that
everything
makes
about the culture
sense.
of Threads.
Yeah, that is very Cancer Sun Leo Moon. It's true. Join us, Ang. Join us on Threads. Yes, and then I also met Kelly on Threads, and I think like through a friend, another like one of our mutuals, and like through mostly like writing, a writing friend. Wow, that makes
I
sense.
remember when I first got on Threads, because I was just, I don't know, I was like, what's this? And I thought I would use it for like small business stuff. in some way. And then I just realized everyone there was so nice and supportive. I was like, wait, social media isn't typically like this.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
I thought, yeah, what if I lean into that? And it was so funny
Mm-hmm.
because I remember meeting you guys and being like, they're so cool. I really want to be their friends. And just the little things,
Yeah.
like nice interactions. Like, oh, I like that. And it felt so sappy.
Mm-hmm. No, I
It was
agree.
definitely like coming out of my comfort zone a
Yeah.
bit, but everyone was so encouraging. I feel like it shifted a lot for me in a good way to
Yeah.
have that community there. It
Aang
was
was
really
saying that
cool.
like I think I was too early because I found it boring. I was there like in the beginning maybe. I think the thing with threads is that you
Yeah.
really get what you put in. Like I find that like the thing with threads, it's like you have to be active and talking to other people. It's not just like letting people
Yeah.
find you. No, you have to go in there and look for the people that you want to talk to, and then you have conversations,
Yeah.
and through there, that's when you create like through connections. And I think that threads definitely helped me to change my relationship with the internet. You know, it's giving X and Reddit exactly like Threads is my
Yeah.
Reddit. I literally post on there and be like, I have a question about this, and then people be like responding to me, and I'm like, cool. Like, who are these fucking strangers? I love it. Like, and then I suddenly it's more positive. Yeah, like it's. I mean, obviously it's your algorithm and like the people you interact with and like the way that I interact with people. I'm not very, like, what's the word? I don't handle or deal with a lot of conflict on threads. I'm very like I literally comment on people's threads, be like, "You're so hot. You look so good. This is so smart." Like that's how I've interacted on
Yeah.
Yes.
threads, which is very
Dude, yeah,
Leo
I
and
had
Cancer,
like
right?
yeah, I had the same experience whosoever is describing where it was like really boring in the beginning.
Yeah.
I can't see the chat by the way. I'm not trying to be rude.
Yeah.
Um
It was Ang.
but yeah, it was really boring at first. And then when I just was like fuck it, I'm just gonna reply to random shit. Then the algorithm started learning what I liked,
Mhm.
and I built relationships. And like previously, like on other social media platforms, I was really shy about like commenting on stranger stuff because I
Mhm.
assumed that nobody wanted any of
Yes.
this. I'm like, I'm not gonna force myself on anyone.
Yeah.
They can approach me first. But Threads is the first platform where I was like, well, clearly that's not gonna work. So
Yeah.
I did the opposite, and it really like it taught like kind of like you were saying, it taught me a lot about like how to be on the internet and what kind of experience I want from being on the
Mm,
internet, and like completely changed my values and how I like behaved over there, which then in turn curated like a much better algorithm than I've probably ever had on any other app. Like it really does respond to you. And I've noticed that like especially like after some kind of like major political shit will happen and I'm very activated and I'm kind of reactively engaging with content, it fucked my algorithm really bad. And I
Mm,
start seeing
mhm.
people
Mhm.
that I don't want to interact with
Mhm.
and stuff that I don't like. And then I have to like pull back really fast. But then if I do, it responds like within a couple days and
yeah.
I'm back on the line of threads I want to be on.
Yeah. No, I agree exactly. Like threads like it really taught me to understand like how algorithm is so sensitive, and also how like cultivating a relationship is the most important aspect, and like being the first to respond to somebody like and not expecting anything in return. Like it is a very like
Right.
I'm here because I'm enjoying it, and I'm very grateful when people show up and like support me as well. But most of the time it's an experiment, and I'm just like learning to find my voice. I'm learning how to talk to people online. I'm learning how to type with my feelings. Um I feel that like sometimes when I go outside my normal algorithm and I see like normie stuff, my feed becomes normie, and I'm like, oh, I'm scared. What's going on? Who are all these people? These are not the people that I'm used to. And it's like, I think about the threats of like people being like, oh, you don't want it to be like an echo chamber. But I'm like, why would I want to be around people who are arguing? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I don't
grow a
want I want
community.
yeah, like the answer to an overly controlled space or like an overly curated space is not to stop curating. It's not to just let all the chaos in and be like, ah, fuck it.
Yeah.
you know? Like, okay, I need it to be a little echoey in here. It's like good acoustics. That's what we want.
Exactly. Like people who care about the same things are not going to be talking about them in the same way. Like that's so funny. The acoustics are good at this echo, baby. Let's everyone talk. And
It's like a church in here.
it's like a oh, that's so true. And Gray has a sorry, wait. Gray Ang has a question for you, and it's about your hair. I think it's really about your alopecia. She was like, "Did you decide to be bald? Because like Vanilla decided to shave their head because she like gets overstimulated." She's like, "OMG, I didn't know." I'm like, no, I think this is a fine conversation to have. I've
No,
been
it's
bald
fine.
for a while.
Like I kind of did and kind of didn't. Like I don't. If I hadn't have already started like getting bald spots and stuff from alopecia, it's like an autoimmune disorder that makes your hair fall out, where your body attacks its own hair follicles.
Which I
I
didn't know
probably
that.
wouldn't have. Uh, it's like a pretty rare one. It's actually like it's a really common like comorbidity of long COVID, so it's becoming a lot more common. But
Oh.
at the time that I got alopecia, it was very unusual.
Oh.
And yeah, I finally was just like, I feel like I tried treating one of my bald spots and it was effective. But then when
Oh.
I got another one, I was like, I'm tired of being at war with what my body wants to do. I really like sat down, was like, why am I fighting? Like, why do I want to keep my hair? And I didn't have a good reason, so I just shaved it off.
Yeah.
And within like a month or two, maybe all of my hair was gone. And within like maybe 3 months, like my eyebrows and eyelashes were gone. So I chose a good time to
To like accept your fate,
because
essentially.
it probably just would have happened anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Ang says, "No, you're beautiful. I love it. I know a few people who have alopecia. Do you wear wigs?"
I find them to be sensory hell,
Yeah.
and also I feel like I spent my early 20s, late teens, like constantly trying different like hair colors, different hairstyles, looking for something that felt like me. And whenever I shaved my head, like serendipitously, I was like, no, this is it.
Mm.
And then I just made it like my signature style. It was like I'm never going back.
It's so cool.
I joke all the time to like my husband that if my hair did grow back, I would just continue to shave it, and I would be really angry
You're
about
like,
it
what the fuck?
because
Now I
it
have to
fucking
shave more
hurts.
often? Jesus Christ. So rude.
Yeah, and like hair follicles don't like to be shaved. They're too coarse and stuff, so your skin gets all irritated.
Wait, Tori just
Mm.
said, Elijah, what is that you? Opie said,
Right?
Vem
I
vid
was
you ver
thinking of that
vigs.
interview too.
Vem vid you ver vigs. Oh my god.
I saw that comment about thinking about shaving their head during COVID. I actually did do that in 2020.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
it was like as the pandemic was sort of opening up, and it was on my bucket list. And there was a lot of girls on TikTok for some reason that were like, "Shave your head, shave your." I was like, "Okay."
The
I was like, "I think I'm
propaganda.
gonna do it."
Yeah.
Because then like all the graduation ceremonies were canceled, and then I thought like if I didn't like it, that's what quarantine's for, you know?
Period.
So I did it, and
Yeah.
I shaved it all. It's so liberating. It's like I'm
Yeah.
used to like my hair getting stuck in the car door, like flying out the window,
Mm.
getting stuck in the seat belt, and
Yeah.
waking up with like rat nest material every
Literally.
morning. And that was just like,
I
oh,
actually
I
have
wake up
stress dreams.
and I'm alive. And I'm like, poof, nothing else. Well, here I am. It was so amazing.
I
I love
I
that.
literally have stress dreams sometimes where I'm just trying to contain my hair and keep getting in my face.
Oh my god, that
It
sounds
is
so
very
annoying.
liberating. Nice.
I've always wanted to shave my head, and I'm not like, I feel like I want myself to be in a specific point in my life to be like, I can finally do this without stressing my
Mm.
parents out. Like, that is the only
Ooh.
entry point that I have with like shaving my head. Otherwise, I would have already done it. I've already done so many
Yeah.
crazy things for them, so I'm like, I think this will be the last straw for that. Uh,
Fair. Fair.
Ang is asking, Ang said, I wish I did it, or Angel. Do you want me to call you Ang or Angel? Angel said, I wish I did it. I would love a reset. Did you like being bald, Kelly? How was the awkward growing phase?
Yeah, I loved it. It was
Wait,
I don't
hold on.
know.
She
I
just said,
was
Brandon can just use a plunger to pull my hair. Please. Boing. Sorry, go
like
ahead.
I was so paranoid that like I didn't know what everything looked like under there because I was like, what if I got like lumps and bumps
Me
and
as
stuff, you know? But I shaved it and I was like, oh, I have like a very just regular shaped head, I
Oh, yeah.
guess. It did look interesting because
Dude,
at
the
first,
number of
since
people
my
who've stopped me It's usually black women because more black women have like shaved their heads before. But the number of women who've stopped me and been like, "You're so lucky that you have a good head shape
Oh
and there are no bumps or
yeah.
anything." I didn't even know that's a thing.
That's so interesting.
Also, I do have like advice if you ever do want to like shave your head.
Ooh.
Like for the growth period, I have heard that hair gel really helps. And if you look up this
Ooh.
actor's name, Myla, her name is spelled Myha apostrophe LA. She had a pixie that was like, I think she was
Mm-hmm.
like slicking it down with hair gel.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You
They're
you
like
can
Betty
make
Boop
it work,
style.
trust
Yeah, yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like
It's
when it
really like
first
once you
started.
get to a normal sized or like length pixie, then you're kind of out of the woods. It's that weird long buzz cut like golf ball stage that's
Yes.
awkward.
Wait,
I felt like there's that character from one of the recent X-Men movies. I think it was like Teenage Megasaurus something or other.
what?
She had like this buzz. She had this
Megasonic
like buzz
Teenage Warhead.
that her.
Teenage
But she had
Warhead?
this like buzz haircut and I for a while I looked like her and I was like this is so silly cuz I didn't try to like shape it as I went along. I just grew it out straight. And so there were definitely awkward moments where like hair gel helps a lot. And then there were just a couple of awkward periods where like it seemed like I had a little bit of boy hair but not cute. It was like I started working at this restaurant and I kind of wondered if they thought, different like I had a weird look going on for a while, but it was pretty temporary.
That's so funny.
Just it was cool to see all the lengths and to be
This
like,
whole
oh, I like
story
it
is so
here.
Venus and Aquarius.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm like, so like,
Actually,
when in your charts, do you guys remember the moment where you were like, okay, shaved head? Like, what was your chart looking like at this point in time?
I
Saturn
wish
was
I
hitting my
knew.
Venus
Hmm?
and a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna try to like pull
Yeah,
an
pull it up.
approximate chart because I know about
Microsoft is such
when.
an May. Her name's May. Microsoft is such an inspo for short hair, and she's growing her hair out right now, right? Do you guys know Microsoft? Microsoft. She's on Instagram. She's a makeup artist. May Pang.
No.
She's so cool. Oh yeah. Oh my god, her hair's so long now. That's so crazy. She has like a bob. But now I can't see her head tats. Yeah, that's one of the things. I definitely want to get head tats.
Thought about it, and people say that to me a lot, but I felt like I had a good blank canvas and it was kind of working for me. I kind of like a little bit stripped back. That's why I never wear any eye makeup or anything. The only thing I ever wear is like lip stuff
It works
because
really
I
well.
like things to look a little bit like I really like Marie Antoinette era makeup and stuff, and I think the stripped back thing kind of works.
I agree. I
Oh,
feel like
that's
for me, I think like buzzed hair looks really cool with tattoos underneath. So like it makes sense that like you want to
Ooh.
keep yours like you basically have a fucking porcelain head, bro. Like is brilliant. I think it'd be really cool if you got like temporary tattoos sometimes and have
Dude,
them
this is
blue.
crazy.
Microsoft or
Whenever
your chart?
I shaved my head,
Yeah.
the North Node was on my ascendant. It was like not by degree because I don't know the exact day, but it was like in Libra.
Wait. So what do you think that means? Oh no.
I did something radical to my body while the North Node was on my body.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know much about nodes. Can we talk about nodes? I know that the north node is in Pisces and it's the south nodes is in Virgo. So what the hell does that mean, guys?
I'm never gonna know peace on the nodes because the more I research about it, like
It's pretty
the less
confusing.
anything makes sense. And like I tried watching an episode of the astrology podcast with Chris Brennan on it, or I think
Yeah.
I've read like the transcripts of two different ones they did on the nodes. And the part of the reason it is like so there's so many different understandings of the nodes is because like they weren't really worked with a lot in like Hellenistic astrology and I think maybe ancient astrology in general. I think there's more of a precedent for working with them in Vedic astrology. But like I I don't really like looking at the South Node exclusively as past lives, and the North Node
Mm,
exclusively as like your destiny. I think that
Yeah.
that's like kind of an oversimplification. But I do think that it does represent like some kind of energy you're balancing in life, that you're looking at an issue from two different distinct angles. And the South Node's kind of like the way you're more comfortable dealing with that thing, and the North Node is like another side of that thing or another expression of that thing you're being asked to explore. So I think it does kind of represent, in a way, like the arc of destiny through your life. Like
Mm-hmm.
it does like kind of represent the arc of some kind of energy, some kind of story playing out. But I really struggle to explain them and how they work.
I know that the nodes,
yeah.
so like the nodes have to do with like the moon's trajectory, and I know it has something to do with the
Yeah.
myth of like the dragon head and like their dragon head and their tail. So like the direction, the north is like where the head is at, and then the south is where the tail is at. Does the dragon
And
need
to
its
me,
tail?
that's the most reliable way to understand them, because that, I believe, comes from like Vedic astrology, where they have a lot more precedent for
Ooh,
working with them
yes.
and seemingly a better understanding.
Yeah, it makes me think about okay, Aang's just talking about Aang's back to, but like this reminds me of what the fuck? Avatar, where they have Rahu and Ketu, and this was in the other one, not the original one, with Korra. Mouth
Oh,
north, tail
oh, it's
south.
in
Yes,
Legend
No.
of Korra?
Legend of Korra. Yes, I think they. Yes, she visits the spirit world, and
Okay,
there's
yeah.
Rahu and Ketu, and they are inspired
Yes, I
by
remember that.
Vedic people. Yeah. And okay, hold on, you just missed it. So I was
Yeah.
talking. Did you watch Legend of Korra? Do you remember when they went to this when she went to the spirit world, and there were the two spirits? There was Rahu and there was Ketu, and a little bit yes. So those are kind of in. They were inspired by the, I guess like the Vedic spirituality. The north node is where we build skill, and south is what comes easily to us. Thank you, Ophi. I didn't see that one.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember like seeing that in Korra, that I was like, oh yeah, this is familiar. Aang's asking, how did we all get into astrology? I'm like, I don't fucking know, bro. I think
Uh,
for me, this definitely
well,
happened in 2019. This was when CoStar was happening, when CoStar was popping off, and astrology was getting really popular. Do you guys remember like what the astrology was? Maybe like something with Aquarius and people becoming more interested in astrology. And so like
Hmm.
CoStar was popular for a few years, probably like since like 2017, 2016. And then in 2019, I was having more conversations about it in real life. And it was active in more spiritual environments. And someone was explaining to me about like my 11th house and like my Leo placements. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, lady. She was like, yeah, I can see your Leo placements. And I was like, okay, this is what my CoStar says. You're right. Um, and then because of that, like I think finding out more about, just like diving into it a little bit more because of Greek mythology, and also the Chani app. The Chani app also helped to um, ground things down a little bit easier for me. Because of those apps, I definitely was able to find a way to find astrology a lot more digestible.
you know what's funny? Either she's a Libra sun or a Libra rising, but I'm pretty sure Chani is a Libra rising.
What makes
Mm.
you say that?
Hmm?
What makes you say that?
I'm pretty sure that she said so, or I looked it up at one point.
Um,
Let me see if I can find her birth chart now.
Nice. Aang saying for me, it was when I strayed away from religious faith. Now I'm back, but I'm still into astrology. I guess I wanted something to believe in still. So early high school, I think. Mr. Joe
I
says, I
feel
just got
that,
into it
yeah.
with heaven, and I ignored it all before then, other than acknowledging the basics about my Libra sign and rat and Chinese zodiac. Cool! I'm glad I inspired you. I do find it very interesting. Like, it is a very spiritual practice, but also for me, I find it very practical. I
Mm.
don't practice it in a spiritual way where I have altars for these things in that sense, but it does help me make sense of the world, and I love that. I love pattern recognition. I love
Yes.
math, so I'm just like, hey, why not? This is just making sense of shit. And I love that it brings me to people like you and to have these conversations where like it gets very philosophical and then we really just, it's a lot of storytelling. And I love like imagery and like archetypes. That's what like really made me fall in love with astrology. Is this a stupid
Yeah, I
question? What
feel
does
the
neurodivergent mean? I just
storytelling
saw Twitch
element
chats.
especially.
Sorry, hold on. Neurodivergent, so it is divergent, so like away from the neurotypical way of thinking. Usually people who have ADHD, who are autistic, but also people who um, just have like their brains are made differently than the normal person. That is what neurodivergent means. Typically, it is used for the ADHD environment, but people who are also like schizophrenic, have bipolar, have depression, they are also like their brain diverges from the normal path. And I don't think like I think like I think most people are neurodivergent, but neurodivergent people, they stay on their course of being on the outer place versus people who like try to stay and like mask within society.
Mm-hmm.
Ophi says they tried to erase and ban astrology, especially because it tracks political ideologies and what women have gone through in history. Yeah, exactly. Like I said in the first episode, like millionaires don't have astrologers, billionaires do, because the people love war and the people in power also love to track time with the stars, even if like they are not like serious about it and they just think it's cute. Like, yeah, it makes sense. They would just be like, what's a good time to do this? And someone's like, well, like in the stars it looks like this. It's like, okay, whatever. I feel like that's what happens now versus like people who are like true believers. Oh, Gray left again. BRB Gray. T clocked, exactly. Kelly, how about you?
Yeah.
When did you get into astrology?
I always feel like astrology was sort of the rabbit hole that I never consciously decided to enter into.
Mm.
Because, like, I was interested in the sun signs and stuff from a pretty early age. Like, I just thought it was interesting, but I never had an intention to get really deep into it, or like, I never thought, oh, I'm gonna be an astrologer or anything like that. It was probably just like a series of, like, oh, let me look up my friend's signs, like, just starting with the basic stuff. And then being like, oh, a moon sign, what's that? So, very like small titrations of learning more until I was like, whoa, how did I get in this deep? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a little bit
Same.
here and there over several years. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like in this hole now. So I might as well make myself comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Especially now that I'm like starting, like a year or so ago, I started looking at the ongoing like current transits. And I think now I'm kind of getting more interested in synastry and like reading that. So it's just like, oh, fascinating. It's just layers and layers of.
So many
But once you
layers.
get into it, it feels crazy. Like you can see so much. I like what you said about the symbolism too, because that's a big pull for me for that. Like I used to do like spelling bees and stuff when I was in school, which was super nerdy, but I really loved that you could learn if you knew the root of a word, you could learn so much just from those little letters.
Mm-hmm.
There was so
Mm-hmm.
much meaning that you could glean from it. And I feel like it's the same with the archetypes and all of the symbolism and astrology. It's like if you learn about that, then you learn about so much. And then just having conversations about like how people understand themselves and each other, it's so valuable, I think,
Yes.
in that way. Yeah.
Exactly. I love relating to people with
Yeah.
astrology. It's like it's like having like therapy conversations without getting into like therapy speak, or also without having to like
Mm.
rationalize terrible behaviors. I do find that like pop horoscopes and like when people who are not in the depth of astrology, they do demonize people through signs and like this person is bad because
Oh,
they're this and
yeah.
that. And I hate that because I'm just like, there's so much to a person. A person is shitty because they're shitty. That's about it, you know?
Yeah.
Like we have
And like if anything, astrology just describes the ways that all of us can be shitty.
exactly. We are
Mm-hmm.
all capable of
Equality.
shittiness. Equality, period. Like I find that like people I think it is just like the social dynamic now of pathologizing everybody, and astrology is just one of the tools that people love to do that, and I'm like, no, please, like
Yeah.
everyone can be
Ugh.
bad.
That's like a whole that's a whole folder that we could open on how people bring like pathology frameworks and capitalistic
Yep.
frameworks and colonialist frameworks to astrology. It's just like, no, it wasn't designed to work like that.
Please. Gray, how did you get into astrology?
I met a friend who considered themselves an astrologer and was also like a very clear thinking, logical person. And that, like, I, as a teenager, was really obsessed with personality theory and, like, not just the MBTI. Like, I looked
Oh
into
yeah.
socionics, I looked into a bunch of different shit that I can't even remember. And so when I met this friend and was like, oh, okay, this actually sounds very much like on the up and up, and also like a way more complex system than I thought existed. Like when I realized that there are all these layers of all these different planets, not just your sun sign, and the relationships between those planets, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, that sounds like something because I have like a kind of addiction to complexity and any kind
That's
of
so
like
funny.
system with a lot of like moving parts. I'm like, I
I
gotta know
need the
about that.
details. Give me
So
the
Yeah.
like
tea.
I exactly. So that's like when I started getting into astrology, which was also in like 2019. So about the same time as you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like I feel like in 2019, like everyone was like, this is the new language that we're all learning.
What was in the
What
air?
was
What?
in the fucking air?
I gotta know.
I think it was fucking Saturn moving into Aquarius.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
so, yeah.
Low key COVID. um, I knew y'all were my people when y'all would thread about astrology. Yes, Marianne. Exactly.
Aw.
I love it. Like it really like it creates a sense of safety for me. Like for me it's like okay, people who are knowledgeable in astrology in any way and who are comfortable talking about it even at any level, it means a sense of like self discovery and also the willing
Mm.
to learn and understand the person themselves and other people. People who think that astrology is like strict and like they don't believe in astrology, or that people are like that is their sign which means they're evil. I don't trust those people. So like it definitely helps to let me get to know the safety in conversations. It's like, okay, is this my person? Like, I don't need you to be 100% like I know everything about astrology, but like, are we willing to learn? Are we willing to be growing students in this like weird world? That's why I love astrology. It's just like, oh my god, look at the signs. That's so crazy. And it's like, yeah, I love signs.
It also can like it can really be powerful for like getting in contact with like natural rhythms and cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
grounded me a lot as someone like I have like an air dominant chart, and like I think my second like most populated element is water, and earth is like it's the least amount. I have like one earth placement besides my south node. I have one actual earth, well, and the
That sounds like you're
Capricorn
not
ones
supposed
that are
to have it just because
generational.
you're a sound note, but I'm
Um
talking shit. Anyway,
but
sounds like
like
you're moving away
like
from that.
I really struggle with like groundedness and like not living in my head. And there are a lot of times when I would be like, oh, I feel like I'm supposed to be making this thing happen, but it's not working. And then I look at the astrology of the moment and it's
Oh
telling me to
yeah.
like sit back and reflect. This is not a time to be full steam ahead. And like it helped me also like really helped me develop my intuition and my psychic skills, because I
Mm.
always like could cross reference like the textures and like the sensations I'm picking up on from the moment with
Yep.
like what's happening in the skies, and then like having those two things to like compare helps me kind of gauge what certain feelings mean to me and get better at like developing my own like somatic lexicon and inner language.
As above, so below for real.
For real.
People who are into astrology are so nice. I don't know why we get that stereotype. People who are loud, people that like to be mad about things, or tend to be really loud. So it's hard to have like And also like patriarchy doesn't like things that a lot of women and femme type of thinking and like witchcraft. Patriarchy hates that because it requires them to think outside of these systems that they've created. So that's one of the reasons why people don't like astrology or people talk shit about astrology. Speaking of
Oh,
MBTI, do you guys know yours? I am ENFJ, says Angel. Um,
Oh.
in during the pandemic, I actually was INFP because I was so isolated and I was so overstimulated all the time. I was like, I can't. But I had a really good advice. Doxy actually told me this. And he was like, don't answer the questions as if the version of yourself that you think would do it, or like the how you think you would want to respond to things. Respond to the actual pattern that you've lived in. So like for me, like
mm,
I like a lot of alone time, but I also actually really enjoy being around people. So that was something that I had to come to terms with, and I was like, damn it, I'm extroverted. Fuck. Like even if the environment is just like on digital scale, like this is my perfect amount of peopling. I'm like I'm hanging out with people, but I'm also in my bed. So I
yeah.
think recently I am ENFJ also, or ENFP. I don't fucking remember. I am INFP. Oh, Marion. That makes sense. I love it.
Oh.
Do you have Cancer
I
placements?
recently like retook the Myers-Briggs test because I hadn't taken it like since I was a young adult.
When I was
Because
a
I just
young
wanted to see. I've done so
warthog.
much like healing and stuff
Yeah.
that like maybe I would get a different result, but I got the same result. I'm an
Yeah.
INTP.
Oh,
I
INTP. What about you,
I did
Kelly?
the same thing. I took mine a while back, like probably like in high school or college, and then very recently took it again. And I thought it would change, but it didn't. Mine's INFJ.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what are you guys? Because I think mine's a campaigner, where like I like to bring people in groups. I'm very Libra rising, I think, in that way.
Mine's
I have
the
to look mine
advocate.
up.
So it's very
Advocate.
preachy, very much like, let me help the people and be
Oh,
all on my soapbox about it.
I love that.
Google
Leader.
says that mine is the logician, architect, or
Ooh,
philosopher.
architect. I think I know someone else.
Ooh,
Wait,
that
is
seems
Steve
so
Jobs in
fitting for
there?
you.
Huh?
Is Steve Jobs in there?
Don't know.
I am
Something
INFJ.
tells
Oh.
me he has like intuitive intuition or introverted intuition because
Oh yeah,
each
because
of
there's
the
different
four
letters, right?
functions in Myers-Briggs, they each are either introverted, so like internally oriented,
Mm-hmm.
or extroverted, like
Mm-hmm.
externally oriented. And Steve Jobs really seems like someone who has introverted intuition.
I think he's like an architect or something. Obama. I think Angel. I think we have the same one. Obama, Oprah, Malala, Malala. That's so fun to say. I think I'm also ENFJ. I took mine like a few months ago, and before that, the last time I took it was like during the pandemic when I was INFP. Shio says he is INTJ. What does that mean? I don't. I'm so all. I
When
hate.
I looked it up, oh no, that's ENTJ. When I looked it up, Steve Jobs was most commonly typed as an ENTJ. So
So
close to
close. He's more
INTJ.
external. I hate Myers Briggs. I'm like, I don't know these fucking letters. Stupid. But then if you give me like their
I
archetypes, I'm like, okay, fine, fine, thanks.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I really rock with the Myers-Briggs anymore, but mostly because I found a lot of the people who were really into it to be very annoying.
It is the
Mm.
Christian astrology, I like to call it.
Oh my god, that's so real.
It is the corporate setting of astrology.
That feels correct.
Yeah, so weird. When I worked at Shopify,
I
they
think
were
that's why
like,
I'm always fascinated. Sorry,
oh
go
no, sorry.
ahead.
I was gonna say, like, when I worked at Shopify, they were like, we're gonna give you a free account so that you can really know and you can share with us. And then we did, but I was just like, this didn't show me much. This wasn't that exciting. What was this fake free account? I don't want to read all of this though. Sheo said, I've been a protagonist and campaigner before, so it kind of varies. Ooh, yeah, I feel like you have like a lot of
Protagonist.
life shifts. for it to change. Not much. That makes sense. I love that like we moved from like astrology to corporate astrology.
Dude, speaking of corporate astrology, has anybody here heard of the Big Five?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
What do you mean?
I
Is
hate
that an
that
app?
shit so much. That is corporate astrology right there.
Is that a new thing?
It's like a personality system where there are these like 5 things that are measured or something. I swear my brain has blocked it out because I fucking hate it.
I was like, oh, is that what your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars?
Big Five.
The Big Five.
I love that.
I'm doing my Big Five test right now. What is a Big Five? Should we do that right now? You're like, I hate it. Should we do it?
Don't
I remember
traumatize
there
me.
was something like agreeableness or openness. I know I've probably had that stuff going on.
I don't like those words.
Neuroticism, maybe.
Oh God, I
I feel
hate
like
it.
I was high on that too. I was like, I'm out there
The
apparently.
Big Five. Oh, personality.co. Neuroticism, extroversion, openness, agreeableness, and conscientiousness.
Ooh, yeah.
More pathology.
You know what's so dumb? Is I was ranting about this system like a year or two ago. I remember me and Cody were like in the car coming back from somewhere, and for some reason after ranting about how much I hate this thing, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna torture myself. I'm gonna take this test. And so I took the test, and at the end they're like, put in your email to get your results. And I was like, fuck, alright. So I did, but then afterwards they're like, surprise, bitch, you have to pay us for the results. And I was like, I played myself so
Blasphemy.
I
hard.
hate that so
I'm like, this is a thing that I didn't even want to do to myself. It's like the
Hate
spirit
that.
guides were like, don't trust that corporate astrology, ma'am.
That's so fucking funny. Hold on. I'm looking at the chart again, and I don't know. I'm obsessed with it being an arrow. Do you feel like that means anything in terms like energetics? Like it feels very Aries to be like everyone is
It
pointing this
does.
way and it's supported in this way.
I also think of the fire horse. It's just blasting forward.
Yeah.
And then I'm very biased because I'm a Sagittarius, but I'm like, that is like a fire horse and the
Yes.
whole arrow thing, you know? So I'm like, yeah, I like that quite a bit. It's very intense.
It is very intense. Everything is moving forward, and we're getting ricocheted. Like I don't know. I don't know if things are getting ricocheted. Ooh, Sag Moon.
Also, those, like, is it though? I always get it backwards as to, those are, never mind. I've confused myself. I'm gonna drop that one.
Okay.
Thought.
Tee. I'm like, okay, what have we talked about today? We talked about being Saturn ruled. We talked about, oh, you know what? I feel like we haven't really talked about this. How, as a Libra rising, does Venus play for you specifically? Like, how does it show
Ooh.
up in, like, your relationship and how you show up in the world? So, say your Venus sign first, and then your house placement, and then how you see it.
My Venus is in Gemini in the 9th house. And I feel like I am that person in all of my friend groups, and although friend groups kind of gets a little more into the 11th house. But I am that person usually in my relationships that's constantly like injecting people with new perspectives. I love like playing around with different ways of viewing something and like different data sets and stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of the main way that it shows up. Also, just that I like a lot of variety, and that like I'm constantly trying to advance my internal philosophy, and so like that's kind of like that's been something that's been hard for me to accept, where I realized I needed better boundaries in my relationships. Is like I don't find relationships to be fulfilling unless like they are helping me develop my personal philosophy in some way. It doesn't have to be that all the time, but that has to be a big aspect of the relationship.
Oh, I love that. That makes so sense. That gives me like so much insight because like we have the same Gemini moon, right? And I feel like yeah, I do require my like close environments to be some sort of expansive and a lot of like thinking and learning. Otherwise, I'm kind of like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? If we can't like bounce off of
Yeah.
each other and like find some sort of growth or questioning, what's the point?
Yeah.
Um, Cute. I love that
And that
so
does
much.
like that is like a big part of it too with like my moon being there. That also kind of flavors it is that that's also how I feel safe. And that's how I feel like secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly, because like your moon is like our internal world, and like I think like as a moon, and we think of her as a nourishing like womb space type of environment of creativity. It makes sense, and also like reflective, right? The moon is reflective, so
Yeah.
how do we find ourselves in others in a way? Shio says complicated relationship with the quote unquote the teacher. Expand. Del more. I think I understand, but also I want to see what you're saying. Aang just texted me. Let's see. Did I get it? Oh shit. Oh my god. What's going on? Okay, cute. So, do you have your birth time, Aang? I'm looking at this. Hold on. Okay, yes. So, oh, there's no houses on this freaking website. That's the thing. I was gonna send you a different website because the website that I'm using right now, AstroSeek, does not have. Oh wait, it does. It's the fucking. They're right there. I'm so blind. They're in the middle. The houses are in the middle. So let me go to this thing. So like these, right? This is the houses. Can you see my cursor? Yeah, this is the houses. Yes. Um, Kelly, how about you? How, as a Venus ruled person, where your Venus, what sign it is, and how that shows up in your life?
Yeah. So my Venus is in Aquarius in the fifth house, and I feel like with the Libra rising stuff, definitely leaning more towards like being a pacifist or just like good vibes and stuff. With my Venus placement, I realized like in my relationships, I definitely lean towards unconventional dynamics with the Aquarius there. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had a poly phase for a while. And I also realized that like there were a lot of partners I had in the past who were like raised in cults and stuff, which was kind of an interesting pattern I picked up on
Is that an
recently, where I was
Aquarius thing?
like, yeah, I think, well, I know Aquarius is naturally in like the 11th house, and so it can be more like community
Mm-hmm.
oriented. I feel like on the dark side of that, maybe it can get a little culty,
Yeah.
but I just noticed
Yeah.
that like a lot of my partners were very unusual in different ways, and I liked that. Like, I liked the uniqueness of it. And in my own life, it's like, I definitely like kind of like weird, funky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also like technology quite a bit. Very like almost like solar punk type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that kind of bleeds
Oh, hold on.
um,
No.
just fun energy that I really like. And in the fifth house, yeah, relationships, the arts, so, like I love kids, and I just love it. And now it's really wacky and weird stuff. It
Oh my god, is
feels
it
this
me?
part of my brain that is really funny to
I know they're lagging. It's like I think it's me. I think it's my Wi-Fi. Dang it.
not Robotech.
I know. Let me close and stuff.
Just artist again. Ugh.
Boo. Let me come back. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the tech difficulties. Quick BRB. I hate robots. Let's see. Join call. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. March 20th. Wait, really? Not too bad. That's 10 days. Where's Discord?
So that's nuts.
Okay. Things are better. I just had
Oh,
to turn
wow.
my camera off on Discord. But yay! Okay, we're back.
Did it get very robotic
It
with,
did.
I guess, probably towards the end of what I was saying?
Towards the end, yeah.
Oh, I just like, since it's like the house of kids and stuff, I love when
Mm.
kids and pets do weird, funky things. It just tickles a part of my brain that it's endlessly entertaining to me. So I
No.
feel like it comes out that way too.
Yeah, no, you have like oh wait, no, pets are like the fifth
They're
house is
technically under
joy.
Virgo, but uh,
Like pets are like sixth house, right?
yeah. But I was just meaning like I don't know,
Things you care for.
I know Gray's noticed gotten really into like those tiny like kind of messed up looking chihuahuas and stuff recently. It's just like all the little
Kind of
funky
messed
things
up looking.
where I'm like
So
something's
funny.
just like not right, but I
Something's
love
not
that
right
stuff
here.
so much.
Dude,
It's
I
just
feel
yeah.
that.
I love that. That's so silly. That's
I
so
feel like that's
interesting.
very much kind of what Aquarius and Gemini have in common, is liking
Ooh, that
things that are a
chaos
little weird, a
factor.
little fucked up. Yeah.
Bit of a weirdo energy for real. Is it a chihuahua or a chocolate croissant? They look so funny. I think chihuahuas are so funny looking, but they're so sweet. Like people who have
You're
like are very
adorable.
like sweet to their chihuahuas. Like there are some chihuahuas that are just like mayhem because their owners are also not that great, but otherwise they're just very
Mm,
Yeah.
protective and they're very sweet and I love them. They're so snuggly because they're like deficient. They're so skinny.
yeah.
They look like anemic babies to me. That's so interesting that you say that like the Aqua Venus um, put you into like poly relationships and also like on, I guess like untraditional dynamics. Because I have Venus in my 11th
Yeah.
house and I have like very similar experience in that. Um, so the reason why we're talking about Venus, our Venus placements, is as a Libra rising, our planetary ruler is Venus. And what that means is that the way that so your rising is like the very short form people say it's like it's the mask that you present to the world, but it's not really a mask in the way that like you take it on and off. It's more so the first and what's the word? Like the way that your what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Fuck. Your first impression.
Like yeah.
The first impression that someone has of you when you walk into the world and they don't know the intricacies of your life yet. So like strangers and like just like new environments. This is how you walk in your life. That is the rising sign of your chart. So like that's the first house. And so as a Libra rising, Venus rules the sign Libra, which means that like how because like Libra and Taurus are Venusian signs, so how a Libra rising acts also is affected by the Venus placements. So for me, my Venus is in the 11th house, which is also the house of community, networking. Also, like it's similar to like the Aquarius traits, but I feel like that's like ABC astrology, and I'm like I don't fucking know anything about astrology like that. But this is just one way that I'm learning to understanding it, and so like me and Kelly are like similar in that way. We're like with my Venus in 11th house, I have been in relationships that are in polydynamics, and I do have like weird ways of like being in relationships. Like I had a relationship that I met someone on Tumblr, and that is very
Oh
technologically
yeah.
inspired. And my Venus is in Leo, so I very much love out loud. I am a very dramatic for the romances. I love to put my person up on a pedestal, but not in the way where like they're above me. I'm like we're both on this fucking stage, bro, because we're both hot. I'm obsessed with you because you are great, because we look good together and because we have great minds together. Um I feel that what is the 12th house? The 12th house is sometimes people say your secret enemies, but also
Mm.
I think like the afterlife is also the 12th house. It is like psychic gifts. It's a very spiritual house. Um, so with my Leo Venus, like the way that I show up in the world, my hair is very much seen often. My hair changes how I am. My hair, like people love my hair. I've always had a really good hair. Um, and my Venus is a Taurus in the 12th house. Nice. Um, so I find that like I'm like I don't know, like what are your first impressions of me as a Leo Venus Libra rising? And also at the same time like my Venus is conjunct Mercury and Jupiter, so I feel like that also impacts the way that like I communicate, which is also part of why I love out loud. I feel like Leo Venus is not specifically love out loud, but it is very like prideful. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I
I can see
totally,
that.
I'm
I
like, this is
totally
my bitch.
see like. Oh, sorry.
So go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I totally see it with how you like present yourself here, where like I see, like, I feel like Leos and Libras, they all just kind of like looking good and stuff. And so, like, I always knew that you had like a really good aesthetic going on with how you present yourself. And you are very like bubbly and outgoing and very like Leos have that kind of radiant energy. But then
Hmm.
with the 11th house, it's I could see the online community focus as well, like where that meets technology or even noticing how like even when we were setting up, like I like to think I'm kind of tech savvy, but I kind of have to mess around with some stuff. But you were all like, "Oh, let me do this thing and this thing and this thing." And it was so cool to be like, oh yeah, she's got that down.
Also, the
But
11th
then,
house is also the house of ideals and of shared
Ooh.
ideals,
Ooh,
oh
of like
yes.
yeah.
being the thing that brings community together. Um, Also, another thing that I keep thinking about, like, is this conversation I had, I think, with Neha. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her
Neha's
name.
also
I've
Libra
never heard it
rising,
out loud.
yes.
Yeah, and she was just talking about like Leos, and I was saying like watching a Leo like express themselves can
Mm,
literally heal all who watch it.
Aww.
Like there's like a purity, and it is like sunlight is healing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah.
Sunlight,
Leos are ruled by
dries
the
out
sun,
things
yes.
that are too damp and like getting like musty and shit. Like it's like this airing out that like pure solar energy does. I don't know.
Mmm.
So that like
True.
inner child energy, because there needs to be that sense of play. Like kids are usually pretty tapped into that, which I see the association with Leo. But yeah, to kind of have access to that play and that warmth. A
Hmm.
lot of people have lost touch with that. It's quite sad.
It is. It is sad. I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that like I
Inner
definitely
child
have
healing is a
to.
good light.
Hmm?
I was just gonna say inner child healing, like Kelly brought up, is like a good keyword, key factor to consider when thinking about Leo as an archetype.
Mmm.
Mm.
Because it is like that pure solar consciousness. Like it's our like beingness, the thing that we just are. We don't have to do it. We are constantly just running this process by existing, the way
Yeah.
children do.
Yeah. Yes, the sun is just there and it knows and exists and that it can shed light on many things. Yeah, and that's true. Like children, they already know who they are and all we do is just we chip away or like the society itself just like chips away or like hides some aspects about children and then the light just like sheds light into things and creates warmth. Creates warmth
Mhm.
and just nurturing. I would love to photosynthesize. Aang
Ooh,
says
me
Venus
too.
is in Taurus 12th house. I don't know what that means. Ooh, that's interesting. What's your rising again? Because like the reason why we're talking about Venus is because we're ruled by Venus, right? But
Oh yeah.
Gemini rising. Ooh. So you are ruled by Mercury. Do you guys feel like um the way that like Do you feel like you are expected to show up in the world as a Venusian?
That's a
Yeah,
great
and people
question.
get real mad when I don't.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Ooh.
People are like, hey, you're not like the soft, fluffy thing that we need you to be right now, and can you please stop?
Yes, because I.
That's so fascinating. Because, like, I feel like my experience was a little different in that, like, I want to show up as a Libra rising, but it's almost like some people have weird reactions to when you express optimism or like positivity. They're like, oh, that's too much. And now I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm kind of leaning into all that Care Bear energy. So, like, but I also have Lilith in my first house in Libra too. So maybe there was like kind of a weird energy around that for a while where now I'm
Which,
like
like,
full send.
yeah, and like my experience could also have more to do with my Cancer sun. So I'm not sure about that one.
Mm,
But
Mm,
yeah, having
interesting.
Black Moon Lilith conjunct your ascendant is intense. Like I have
Oh,
Black Moon
yeah.
Lilith conjunct my Moon, Mercury, and Venus.
Oh,
So it's like part of my Gemini stellium. And like when I started reading about Black Moon Lilith, everything made sense. Because all of the things that I have been praised for that I'm really good at, because like Mercury and Gemini, that's like a domiciled Gemini heading
oh,
up that
yeah.
stellium. Like all the things I am good at and that people love me for are also the things that people hate me for.
mm,
And I make them confront the aspects of Gemini energy that they would prefer not to, which I think is why, like, I found in my like coaching practice and stuff, I tend to the work that I do with people often like revolves around them embracing their inner evil, like
mm-hmm.
embracing that duality, because that's the part of Gemini no one wants to confront that
Yes.
I'm constantly shoving in people's
Oh,
faces by
yeah.
existing. So it's like you, Kelly, by your very being, because this is the first house of like body and self, are like constantly making people confront aspects of Libran energy that are uncomfortable for them. But that's
Oh.
also what makes your Black Moon Lilith placement like a source of power.
Woohoo.
I don't know much about
Yeah.
Lilith. I have Lilith in the fourth house with my North Node and Neptune and Uranus.
Oh my goodness.
So that's fun. I feel like every time I like look it up, it means that I have to change the way that like the home and the environment and family mean, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just gonna blame it. It's true.
It do be like
It
that.
do be like that.
That's in there.
How did you guys get more connected with your Lilith?
Oh, man. That's a, for me, it's a rough one, a little bit. Um, ooh. Well, I feel like some of it is like the thing that's repressed or the thing that feels pushed down is that thing you have to reclaim in your own way. And
Mm.
also leaning into like artistic outlets for that. Like I had a weird relationship with creativity growing up where like I always had a knack for that, but I had a weird arc of like leaning towards more stable professions or like something more traditional and kind of subconsciously repressing just purely artistic or creative pursuits for a while. I was also more of a tomboy, so it's kind of like not
Mm.
like looking into fashion or art and stuff. And then I had to like come full circle with that. And then, yeah, just sort of like a whole journey with like my feminine side and some like dark stuff around that that was really difficult to deal with, and now it's like okay, here it is, it's all coming out now. um but yeah,
That really
it
tracks for Black Moon Lilith
yeah.
and Libra.
Yeah. That sounds very intense and confronting to be like doing that on your own for like a personal
Oh, for
journey. It's
sure.
like, fuck.
Yeah.
No, I feel like
And
that's
then
good that
like
like you're able to do that you were able to like figure that out and that you're going through that before your Saturn return also.
oh yeah,
And I
it's
feel like that
helpful.
will definitely help
Yeah.
like I don't know, create some more momentum for that. Like you were saying, like you feel a lot more able to show up and like just fight for the shit that you want to.
It is wild how it is like
Oh yeah.
opposite that Saturn and Aries, so there's like a tension there between like I don't know, I guess self-expression, what other people want me to do, all that stuff. But thankfully, it is all going in one direction that is like just enjoying my life and doing whatever I want, which I love about Aries. So,
Period.
yeah, I'm like, that's a pretty good lesson to try to integrate, I think. I hope that's what it's about. Just like
Mm.
kind of being a little selfish and doing what I feel like doing for a bit. That would be kind
Mm-hmm.
of cool. One can
Oh yeah.
Mm.
hope.
Yeah. Well, they're a descendant. That's so fun.
Yeah. Like it.
Mm.
What about you for, were we talking about the, like, integrating the Lilith?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I really this like really was a big theme for me while Jupiter was in Gemini from like June of
Mm.
2024 to like June of last year. Because it was sitting right on top of my Black Moon Lilith
Ooh.
and just constantly like let this thing you don't like to look at, let's zoom in, let's make it
Tee.
bigger. I was like, great. And like I had recently experienced like just before this transit started, and actually around the it all like it all blew up around the new moon in Gemini. I had like a relationship rupture, and it really forced me to contend with how like a lot of my relational traumas have come from people being very possessive over me
Mm.
because they
Mm.
sense that because I have Moon and Venus in Gemini, my attention is very fluid and I get bored with people.
Mm.
And like that is true. I am also a Cancer sun who is like fiercely loyal and sometimes will just hold on to people in my life until one day I wake up and I'm like, do I even like talking to this person? So like I there are two sides of my personality. But at the same time, like, and that's where I did have to like really get real around my relationship boundaries and curating my relationships more and just acknowledging that like yes like yeah, and one thing that I noticed that helped me with this, that helped me to feel less like a capricious mercurial asshole, is like I have had like, you know, I'm in a 10-year marriage. Like I've had like relationships that have lasted like not as long as some people's relationships, but like long time. And the thing that I had in common with all these people is that we were constantly changing and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
That we were all like they be, or like they always had something new for me to discover. Like they're not like
Mm.
my husband is a good example of this because Cody is like he's very Aquarian. If you don't ask the right questions, there are entire aspects of his like history you'll never know about. So I'm like still finding out things about him 10 years into our relationship, and that's part of what keeps the relationship interesting.
Yeah.
And I did just kind of have to acknowledge that, like, yes, my, like, I do get bored with people, and I do, like, reach a point where that relationship has fulfilled whatever it needed to fulfill for me. But you're not evil for moving on from a relationship
Mm-hmm.
or needing
Mm.
to take a step back and evaluate a relationship and
Mm-hmm.
whether you're really getting what you want out of it. And this also makes me think because recently I found out that me and Heaven, both of our ascendants are in the same decan of Libra,
I
and
think
it's
same
the
with Kelly.
decan that deals with like really, yeah. So we're all in the decan that deals with contracts and that deals with like entering into and things like marriage where or like, you know,
Oh.
business partners where like you're creating some kind of contract that you're like, this is what I'm gonna put into the relationship, this is what I want to get out of it. And I have realized that like that is like my strong suit is being really clear on what the relational transaction is in a
Mm.
relationship and being very honest and upfront about it like so that if it comes time that I do need to reevaluate the relationship like it's all out on the table. I never lied to you, I never misled you.
Mm.
You know, how do you be ethical around those things? A big thing that I've like feel like I've spent my entire life developing.
Yeah. People are
That
constantly growing and
tracks.
evolving, right? So it is hard when like people are expected to say the same or like stay together in a dynamic where it's like, well, if we're not growing together, then perhaps this isn't the right place to be, because why would I want to deter you from where you're supposed to be, and why would I waste my time spending energy convincing you of that, or convincing myself to go in your direction, you know? Which is like,
Yes, that's the biggest thing. Is like I don't ever want to feel like someone's just staying because we've been doing this for so long,
mm-hmm.
because
Oh
they're worried about my
yeah.
feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be terrible. If you're
Exactly.
not enjoying it here, don't be here.
Don't be here. If you don't like me, it's fine. Like, we can just find someone else to like, and that's okay. Like, sometimes,
Yeah.
like, people, maybe this is a very Libra Saturnian thing to be like, there is a give and take in things, and relationships are transactional, but transactional doesn't mean monetary. It also doesn't mean one to
Mm.
one, we're like an itemized list. Like,
It doesn't mean
transactions are like,
extractive.
exactly. Like, it doesn't mean because you do this that I need this. Like, it's not a give. There is a give and take to many things, but it is not a clear ABC type of thing where like people are like, well, like you shouldn't look at relationships like that. But it's like, well, are you happy? Do you feel like it is an equal type of partnership, even if that means like you come from a place where you are able to give more and you're still receiving exactly what you wanted in that relationship. Someone on the outside might feel like that looks uneven, but it's like, to you, like, no, this is exactly what I want from it. And knowing that is the hardest thing, that like people, I think, have a hard time knowing like what's supposed to be for them versus like external voices of being like, well, like they said that it should be like this, and like I think that it should be like this because it looks like that on someone else. But it's like, no, like, what is for you? What is between that relationship with you and that person or that environment or that group or whatever? I,
Yeah.
I feel like for me, like with Lilith in my fourth house, like home, that's so annoying. But even like, because like I'm an only child and I'm always moving around, and like I've left my house, like my parents' home, a few times. I've moved on my own, but mostly lived together with another partner a few times now. And it's like, it really is building a home for
Mm.
myself and creating like new rules around it. Like right now, like even creating a home on the internet is like, that's my biggest project right now. And it's really hard, like trying to build something where it's not necessarily supposed to be seen as a home. It's supposed to be a third space, but like I grew up with third spaces as my home, as my homes.
Mm.
So maybe that
That's so
is,
real.
that is like the Lilith that like I have to create. Or like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's fascinating.
I
Yeah,
wonder
because I was
how
just
close it is to like opposing by degree any of your Leo placements.
No. My Leo placements are all like 27, 23. Chiron is early, but that's like fifth house. Fifth house is opposite. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, like, sometimes even though, like, two placements are not, like, in the same houses opposite, they can still be in opposition, like, by degree.
mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just looking at like at the chart that I sent with the Libra rising of this moment, and like mine is like right. No, it is on the edge of the degree, so you're right. It's like 12, 13 degree. Marianne said, "Oh my god, third space as a home, kind of queer." Yeah, it is very queer. You're so right. Oh, I love that. That is what I want. I just want all the gays. I just want all the gays to come and hang out in my house, in my online house. Welcome to my online
For
house.
real.
Wait, I think that's what I'm gonna do now. That's so fun. That's so fun. I love it. Yay. How are y'all
I
feeling?
was just think
Sorry, what were you saying, Helly?
oh oh I was just thinking like another thing that I identify with as far as the Libra rising stuff goes is like the lover girl kind of personality, or just being very pro romance and pro like love. Like something I've been kind of getting into as a running bit lately is just when people are fighting and stuff, to just encourage them to like get along or be friends, or like the whole like Mike Tyson kiss
Yeah.
meme where he's like,
Get
now kiss. And I
nuggets.
just love that stuff so much.
Anytime someone's fighting, so when are they gonna kiss? Literally.
Yeah.
No, I relate to that heavy. Like being a lover. I have a tattoo here that says lover.
Oh.
Um, it was like a flash for like a Valentine's Day, and I find that like being a lover, like it's definitely like there's a lot of hope required, a lot of hope, graciousness, and creativity involved in being a lover, because love comes in so many different forms, and like to learn the person that you want to show love to, you have to like learn through their eyes, the world through their eyes. Because like you can love people the way that you want to love them, and that's easy. But then when you start to learn someone else's language, it's like, wow, like I just learned so much by like loving this person and wanting to show my love to them.
It also makes me think about how love is like an expression of eros, which like one way I like to think of eros is like our aliveness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like eros is required for consciousness to incarnate. That like we have to kind of be a lover to come into this world,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that is like such a forceful energy. Like you need like a certain amount of force to for consciousness to be born, and the like intensity and
Mm.
the ardence of that, or whatever the word is. Like yeah, but like being a lover is like a necessary orientation. And it also makes me think of how like I've had a lot of conversations recently around how like you can't influence someone or try to change the way they see things without relating to them first, without
Mm.
understanding them first. And you can't like hold someone accountable, really, period. You can't hold someone accountable, you can't force someone to be accountable, but you especially can't do it without doing it from a place of love.
Mm.
And even if that love is just mutual respect, because there's a lot of anger on your end, you're like you've done damage. My guard is up a little bit. Love can look many different ways,
Mm-hmm.
but it is like being a lover is like a necessary orientation to like co-create with life.
Yes.
Mm.
I feel like being a lover means having a lot of gratitude and finding joy in existing and like coexisting.
Like that.
Yeah, cuz like yeah, like you're like the way you're talking about like consciousness and being alive, like without gratitude, are you truly living? You know, if you're not able to fully immerse yourself in the experiences and
Mm.
feel through it all, and like gratitude isn't just like I love this. This is so I'm so grateful for this, but it's like truly not taking things for granted. I think that is,
Yeah.
you know.
And like I always think of it as like having radical acceptance for whatever's happening and being able
Mhm.
to enter a state of receptivity where I'm able to,
Mhm.
and that's where the gratitude bit and what you're saying I think comes in, is being able to be receptive
Mhm.
to like how something is maybe like good in itself, or presents some kind of opportunity, just being receptive to there being like a purpose to it.
Yeah, exactly. Receptive. Marion says, I love that, Gray. What you were saying
Oh.
earlier about life and being a lover. Oh, that's so nice. We've been having this conversation for like 3 hours now. How are you guys feeling? We've been
Ooh,
yapping for 3 hours.
that's very fun.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
this was a delicious conversation.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for coming to hang out. I love talking about love and big yapping, for real. Big yapping. I love talking about love. I love being a
Yeah.
Libra rising. It is so funny. Kelly, what's your moon?
Oh, I have a Cancer
You
moon.
have a Cancer moon. Aw.
Yeah,
So you and Gray are
Oh.
kind of like
very
receptive.
snappy.
Aw.
I've been leaning
That's
into that so much more lately. It could also be the Jupiter and Cancer energy. over the 10th house. It's just like, and also with threads, I feel like the last couple years, all that sappiness gets to come out, and it's just so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Marianne, I've done laundry and chopped veggies. Hey, I'm so glad we were here to
Heck yeah.
support
Oh
your
yeah, good for you, Marion.
literally.
I was going to mention, I don't know that we talked much about how the houses are kind of inverted
Oh
for
yes,
us,
we didn't.
but like my TLDR for that is I feel like we just contain multitudes of like if you're always embodying the opposite energy, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of cool because like
Mm,
you kind of get to see both sides of things, right? That's the whole Libra dynamic, I guess.
truly.
Yeah.
I like it. It's
I
very
love
like
that for us.
duality, a lot of this and that.
Yeah, I have like by sign a grand cross in my chart, which means I have two oppositions that are squaring each other. So I feel like I especially feel the opposite day energy of the Libra
Mm.
rising chart.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of that happening.
Do you guys remember when Jupiter was last in Capricorn?
I do not.
I'm trying
I
to
could
like think about like what that energy was like on my Lilith. Hello, Chris. Thank you for coming by. Hope you're doing
Oh,
well.
it was in Capricorn from December the 2nd, 2019 to December 19th, 2020.
Oh, okay. So that was
Oh
definitely like
wow,
pandemic
that's
and like
funny.
building a new home. Literally.
It was like
Nuts.
the most unemployed I was in my life, so I find that very ironic
Where
for Jupiter and Capricorn.
yeah, it was
I was like just graduating and then being like, oh, everyone is like leaving college and having to figure out their lives. And then there's this massive pandemic that's happening. So I was like, I'm just gonna take a step back from that.
yours was like I'm staying
Yeah.
home. Home is home.
Yep. Yes. Oh yeah.
Fourth
Very
house.
work from home energy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That was like right when I like really started confronting a lot of family trauma stuff.
Oh,
Mm.
It blew up fucking Jupiter and Capricorn blew up all of our homes.
Yeah, all of our homes for real.
I had like big roommate drama around that time, so that
Oh
tracks.
Me
shit.
too.
Yeah, yeah, it
Me too.
does.
When I was like saying with
Because like that's Jupiter in fall too. That's like a
oh,
not
Ooh,
comfy place for Jupiter.
oh.
So that's not we're not getting the best of Jupiter in that sign.
that's true because like Capricorn is like even though it's the sign of like legacy, Jupiter wants more is more like pretty fast. Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, it's the not having well, I wouldn't say that Jupiter totally doesn't reward like waiting for things, but not in the way like Saturn does.
Yes, exactly.
So like yeah, that's like a really important factor I think for understanding that.
Does Saturn or sorry, does Jupiter also like speed or is it just like more depth and quantity?
I'm inclined to say that Jupiter is not big on speed. Um, I think Jupiter is a lot about opportunity. It's
oh
about
yeah.
waiting for that opportune moment to strike, but doesn't want to wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want, because like if Saturn is about building skill,
Mm-hmm.
like your Saturn sign is something that is like something that you're really honing over time, a skill set that you're really building and like making robust. Like Jupiter is not doesn't have the patience for that. Is like, no, I'm waiting for that like one opportune moment, and that's when I'm gonna strike with all of my power, and I'm gonna get great results because I chose the right time.
Sounds like
And
Zeus.
I've noticed that like Jupiter transits, like this is what everyone gets wrong about Jupiter, is they think that Jupiter is like Venus just like handing out prizes for
Mm.
its good kids, and
Yeah.
that's not how Jupiter works at all. Jupiter respects someone who is willing to go balls to the wall. So Jupiter, if
Mm,
you say like I want to like make this much money a year, Jupiter might send you a Jupiter transit in your 10th house might send you like this opportunity for this big promotion at work that you think like, "Oh, I'm not smart enough or good enough for that. But Jupiter's like, well, go out for it anyway, like, and maybe read this book to prepare for it, just kind of like see, like test it
Yeah.
out. And if you rise to that occasion and like go out for the promotion, that Jupiter transit will usually reward you because you did the
Mm.
brave and like audacious thing. You kind of reached above where you were at and grabbed for something. That's what Jupiter
I
likes.
love that. Get the thing that you want.
I love Daddy Jupe Jupe.
We love Daddy Joop Joop. Hell yeah. Oh.
But it seems so fitting with like the Saturn and Aries like fire horse energy. I feel like there's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot of people just gunning for it.
And Jupiter's moving into Leo this July, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
like
think June, July, yeah.
that's even more fire horse energy.
That's
More
my
fire.
Jupiter opposition too.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be wild.
Wait, you have Jupiter in Aquarius?
Yeah, yeah, and Uranus as well.
Oh.
That's my
Oh.
Aquarius stellium.
Whoa.
It's a
Whoa.
big, crazy Jupiter energy.
That's a lot. That's a
Uh,
lot.
yeah,
That's so
I like
funny.
it though.
Yeah.
It seems to be pretty
Yeah.
nice, I think. I hope. Definitely like lots
Yeah.
of cool stories. A wild life for sure.
Hell
I
yeah.
can imagine.
No, that's so cool. How do you guys feel about like Uranus? I don't know much about that guy. Or Neptune.
Oh brother. I I realized a couple of years ago that I have Uranus and Neptune really close to my IC in the fourth house.
Mm.
And like
Same.
this astrologer was talking on Threads a couple years ago about outer planet people, and I just like asked, I was like, I have the outer planets conjunct my IC, like would that make me an outer planet person? And they were like, yeah, because that was your upbringing. That's like your background, your
Oh.
history. That's gonna affect the rest of your
Interesting.
life. And I recently brought this to the attention of another Libra rising friend, and it blew their mind too because they also have that aspect, and it really does like it creates like well for one thing a lot of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of unpredictability and instability in my household, which I attribute to having Uranus by the IC. And there was
Mm.
also a lot of confusion, a lot of idealization and demonization, things I associate to be with Neptune as a result of this. And
Oh.
I think also the fact that, like, a lot of us millennials, like, especially younger millennials, have Uranus and Neptune conjunct
Mm-hmm.
in Capricorn or, like, co-present at least. I think a lot of us have this effect of not really having a ton of clarity around the
Oh
function of
yeah.
Uranus in our chart because Neptune like obscures that
Oh.
and creates this like kind of fogginess around it. So for my entire life, I did not realize that I really was like bringing this heavy like revolutionary energy to every room that I walked into.
Tee.
And I kept wondering, like, why is everyone acting like I'm asking for something crazy? I'm just asking us to step 100 years into the future,
Yeah.
like
Nothing
now.
crazy.
And like, so whenever I found that out, I was like, oh my god, I've been torturing everyone my entire life. Now it makes sense why no one wanted my unstable ass around. They're like, look, you're tipping the scales a little bit too much. They're wobbling, screws are loosening. Like, we need you to.
Wait, I relate to this so much. You're too ahead of the game, please. It's like, what? Why are you so behind? I want you to come with me. Damn.
Which, like, in Capricorn too is really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
for millennials,
Legacy.
because we really were like, yeah, and also like that intrepid energy of Capricorn. That's like we're gonna go all the way down to the depths, and we're gonna have special goggles on so that we can see every little detail. And then we're gonna scale this goddamn mountain, and we're gonna have these binoculars so we can see every little detail, and we are going to build something from this knowledge. And like having Uranus there is really like we're not just fucking around about revolution. We're like, here's the strategy. Here's like how we get there. Here's why we're trying to revolutionize this thing. Like it has that like concreteness of Capricorn is a Saturn ruled sign.
Mm,
Mm,
damn. Mountain
that's
goats be
nice.
doing the most.
They do. They're kind of famous for it.
They're
Like
literally
it's so
doing the
this is
most.
so funny. Like everyone is really mad at Timothy Chalamet right now,
Yeah.
and he is a Capricorn. And I feel like the everything that I keep hearing about it, I'm like, he's always been a Capricorn, you
Yeah.
guys. He's always been like this.
Did you guys know that he spread like STDs? So when he was an
I
NYU
heard this
student,
and I heard it's unconfirmed.
it's unconfirmed. I don't know.
Ooh,
Is
tea,
that
tea.
but is that someone else trying to create propaganda against this rumor?
Ooh.
But
Oh,
yeah,
I feel like especially now it's such a chaotic mess of like what's real, what's not.
mm-hmm.
And then the people that benefit from the chaos, how do you navigate it? The
Mm-hmm.
opportunities in it. Man, what a situation.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, with like having Uranus in Aquarius, that's in its rulership, I guess. There definitely is a I don't know, I guess an understanding of the instability or like the
Mm.
breakthroughs that can happen from it. So I don't know. Like, I feel like I've always dealt with a lot of that in my life, so I'm kind of used to it in a way, which is nice. And then sometimes with like Aquarian or more like Uranus type energy, it's very sudden and like it can be like instant downloads and stuff, which is really
Oh.
nice. I
Mhm.
like that side of it. Yeah, so I generally like it. But then maybe
I
that's like
love the vibe of
enjoying the
Uranus and
novelty.
Aquarius.
Yeah, because I like the I don't know, just like I notice I can't do the whole routine thing. Boredom is that's not my I can't be in that place. So I like the energy it brings where it shakes things up. I probably
Mm.
benefit from that. Yeah.
Thank you
Feel
for educating me. I'm like, okay. Like Gray, what Gray said about like Neptune clouding Uranus, that's definitely how I felt about Uranus for a long time. So this is all making so much sense. And I'm so grateful to both of your experiences on that.
Neptune has been a really hard planet for me to understand too, that I feel like I'm just now kind of starting to get it, but and because these outer planet transits last so long, you don't get as much data as like, Venus, Mars, all of these like
Mm.
personal planets moving through a sign, like a lot of, the like at least with like Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, within a year, you get to see all the flavors, and then it repeats next year so that you can keep compounding those data points and keep
Yeah.
confirming like these are the consistencies over time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the outer planets, I'm like, Beach, I would have to be studying astrology for many years and studying a lot of
A
history. And
lot
I
of
think that's
fucking
why I
history.
love to follow like astrologers, like, and why I don't consider myself an astrologer,
Oh yeah.
is like I love like hearing them talk about the history of
Yeah.
different placements and
Yes.
about like because that's so important to the study of astrology.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the whole study. It's the study of time and how patterns repeat themselves.
Yes, the study of time and how patterns repeat themselves. Yes, that is literally astrology. I love it. Just making sense of time and humanity through symbols.
And humanity.
And
I
humanity.
love that you can pull a birth chart for everything. Like, I really want my Cody started a new job like end of February last year, and the company is relatively young. They just celebrated their 10-year anniversary in the fall. And every time I hear what's going on in the company, I'm like, Cody, I need you to find out when they incorporated. I need a
Oh
date. I
yeah.
if you can't find a time, that's fine, but I need the birth chart of the business.
That's so funny. I love business birth charts.
Yeah, and like I kept or I'm so bad about like anytime I start a new project or something, I forget to get a time for when I started it. And
Mm,
like recently I changed the name of my Substack and I'm kind of like rebranding.
yeah.
And I forgot to fucking pull a time on that too. But luckily I was able to go through like my internet history and see whenever I changed like
And there was a
the little like
time?
icon thing. So I finally got a birth time and a
Hell
birth
yeah.
chart for it. And I was like, finally I got it. But in the future, I'm gonna have to remember anytime I do something like get a time, get a date, get a location.
That's so funny. That's such an astrologer thing. It's like, oh, you made a new friend today? Do you know what planets were in the stars? Did you check the alignments?
Right, you have to.
It's the data. We need the data.
We need the data.
That's so fun.
I love
And
those
me
like
and Heaven will literally feel unstable if we don't have the data because our moon is in Gemini. We need it to function.
Stability. Kelly, what were you
I
saying?
love those like spoof videos where they like took the birth time and the chart for like a piece of toast they made that morning. And so they were like reading the personality of like their
Oh
toast
my
for
god.
breakfast.
I love that.
I
That's so
love that.
silly. Damn, I want to start doing that.
I need to get crazier in how I'm using astrology. That's what I learned from that story.
Yeah, literally. I need to use my free will more. What the heck?
Like, what am I doing?
What am I doing? Are there more Venusian things that we need to talk about, or that we should talk about, or that you would like to talk about? I know we've been yapping for a while, so I don't want to like take too much of your
Guess
time.
there's like the money side of things.
Ooh.
The money side of Venus.
Okay, what is the money side
Where
of Venus?
Well, I think in my life, when I look at where it is in my chart, I've always had like relatively tech savvy jobs. Like I worked a lot in research, and doing very like, I don't know, computer oriented type stuff. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's
Um,
interesting.
Okay.
All I know is that I have my North Node and my Pluto in the second house, and it's been a lot of chaos. The money situation.
Damn, you have North Node
Like,
there too? Damn.
and I feel like having the fact of having like Pluto there is very much like big transformation in resources. I have
mm,
like lost a lot of money and I have gained a lot of money very randomly that came in unexpected ways. And I was like, shit, all right.
Mm.
Like it also just as it's not connected to the money thing, kind of tangential, but because like the second house is a lot about like possessions and stuff, and mine is like ours is Scorpio ruled and whole sign. Um, I like to really like clean out my shit
Mm-hmm.
often, and I like to get rid of stuff. I don't like keeping things just for the sake of having them, and I don't like derive a sense of comfort and security from how many possessions I have. I actually feel more out of control and like my possessions own me the more possessions I have.
Mm.
that sounds very eighth house Taurus.
That is true too, yes.
That's so funny.
I have found
Ugh.
more recently that like when I don't have my stuff that I love, I regret it. And that I have loved them for so long. Why did I give them away? I will love them forever.
Yes, I have experienced that too.
So I think like material possession for me, I don't know, man. With my like all of those in Leo, there's too many planets there. Everyone wants to hang out. They're like, please have me, and I'm like, okay. Wait, but Kelly, like when you said like Venus and money, like what does like I've never heard of Venus having anything to do with money.
Oh yeah. Well, I was
Oh, yeah, it's
thinking of
great for money magic.
I mean, well, Taurus is very earth based. I think of like the Queen of Pentacles, like that seems very Venusian to me in a way. And it's like sort of, I don't know, like that tangible earth kind of element. So I think about money in that sense.
Mm.
And Venus
Or
in
like
general
love,
is supposed to kind
abundance,
of govern like our like
or
what brings us
values.
comfort.
Mm.
And like and also like just sensory pleasure.
Yeah, I was
And
thinking that.
like our
Yeah.
materials are like part of that.
Yeah.
very tangible, like embodiment almost.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that makes sense. Like doing the things we love and having access to the things that we want to do and finding joy through that. That does seem like a money thing. That makes sense. Great. What were you saying about like money spells and Venus?
Yeah, mostly like in practical magic, astrological practical magic, I see people talk about working with Venus and Jupiter for money.
Mm.
Personally, I think more people need to know that you can you can work with any planet for anything. You could do money magic with Saturn. You could do money
Ooh,
magic with
yeah.
Mars. You could, and they all would have their particular lesson. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve with money. Um, like really, if you're trying to build like long-term stable wealth, support into your retirement years, Saturn is a great planet to work with for money. Or Mercury literally rules trade. Great for
Ooh,
money magic.
yeah.
But most people go to either Venus or Jupiter for money magic because they're the benefics, they're said to expand things, and that's kind of like the most tried and true path. But I like fuck around and find out magic, so I've done all kinds of magic with all kinds of planets.
Hell yeah. That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah.
What should be our like one, I guess, like wish for Venus for today?
My brain just
I'm
goes
gonna
back.
ask
Oh.
that Venus help soothe the pitchfork energy that Saturn in Aries is gonna bring. And help
Ooh,
soothe our
yes.
communities so that we can really like get into the guts on this collective liberation business, because we're all gonna have to be on good terms if we're gonna build that together.
I so
I
agree.
like that.
Also, Venus,
Yeah.
bring me money, get us
Literally.
all
Yeah,
paid.
that too.
That's my other wish.
Give me money, bro.
I love that. Yeah, my mind instantly went back. Like, my brain has been so fixated around this, but just the like, now kiss thing of like anywhere where people can get along, or even if there is, like, it's so crazy how people are hesitant to lean into good energy when it's there. And I feel like I'm hoping the Saturn and Aries dynamic can also bring like if you're gonna rush into something, like go full speed on the good stuff, you know? People are very
Yeah,
hesitant to like show that love or to be sappy, and I'm like, that's what we need right now, you know?
it feels like the
So
perfect Venus and
full
Aries
Care Bear.
message.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Venus in Aries right now. It is right.
Yes.
It is,
Recently,
yeah.
yeah.
No, that's so nice. I'm like thinking about
I take
like
it.
I don't know what. Do we know anything about like Aries mythology and what he was like as a lover?
They would probably fight for you if they like
I don't
they
know
I know.
actually.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything
I mean, I
about him
think
like having a
about
girlfriend.
like Aries and Aphrodite had a thing a little
Oh,
bit in some stories. Yeah,
Hmm.
I
very
like that.
passionate. Um,
Hmm.
I also love the Saturn and Aries archetypes that I see in some characters, like Aragorn from The Lord of the Rings seems to have that going
Ooh.
on, and all the ladies love that. So I'm like, I when it's Aries as like I don't know, it's enlightened form. It fights for important things like what it cares about. I feel like Venus and Aries is like fighting
It's
for
the
what you
Emperor
love.
card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very daddy energy in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
likes it. I likes
Especially
it.
with Saturn. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I'm learning so much. I'm like, Aries is like, I don't know much about Aries. So this is literally the year. The next few years, this is the time for me to
Oh,
figure
for
that shit
sure.
out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I love Aries energy and worked with the Emperor card a lot for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that aspect of Aries that we see through the Emperor Tarot of like being able to be in charge of all the systems and making sure that and using like your personal responsibility to make sure everything runs well so that your kingdom gets taken care of so that like everyone has their
Ooh.
needs met, but that requires you sometimes as the emperor to be disliked by some parties in the
Mm,
kingdom because they needed to make compromises so that other people could thrive, and you have to be the one to make them compromise. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you are the bad guy, but it's for the greater good.
Mm.
yeah, that fighting is necessary at times.
Yeah.
I've also heard of Aries as like the sacrificial lamb in a way, because it is willing to go out and put itself first. And
Mm.
it's very much that like soldier archetype. I even heard there was like, I don't know, some myth about like a golden ram that like basically, I don't know, maybe there were some kids that were going to be sacrificed or something, and the ram kind of got in the way of that. Aries is also kind of associated with kids in that it's like the first sign of the zodiac, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like this new mind, like beginner's mind energy, or like
Mhm.
the childlike innocence. Yeah, had a lot of I had a very Aries heavy relationship for like the past 5 years. That was very much like my Libra stuff coming up, their Aries stuff coming up, and being like, whoa, it's a different way of living life. But I learned a
Mm.
lot through that.
Wait, Marian says she's
Yeah.
leaving Jose's home. Thank you so much for being here, Marian. Have a good rest of your
Bye, Marion.
night.
Yay!
I feel like I really don't know. Like, Aang, my cousin, is one of the closest Aries that I have. I had a fling with an Aries one time.
Boy.
I'm like, I don't really know much, but like, I was really intense and like, he was really hot, but otherwise,
Hot because
archetypally,
it's fire.
yeah, like, I think like it is like much I know about them is like they do things that they want to, like they're go-getters.
Mm-hmm.
They're like hotheads is like the stereotypical aspect of like Aries and like warriors
I
and
have had
protectors.
better relationships with Aries M's and non-men,
Mm.
if I'm being real honest.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of female friends in particular who are Aries, especially like Aries sons. But I have never dated anyone, and especially no men that were Aries people.
Yeah, I'm like thinking like Aries is in April, March, April. Hmm.
One of my best friends growing up was an Aries, and they were a character. And they always used to tell this story of how like they a like tornado almost hit the hospital where they were born.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
feel like that energy definitely like incarnated right with them.
Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
like like
Yeah.
definitely they brought the chaos in the best way.
Yeah. That's so fun. I don't think I've ever been
I mean,
close.
my only cool birth story is I was born choking myself. I'd rather
No.
rather there have been a tornado.
That sounds like
Oh
the
my.
butterfly effect. Where like he had to kill himself in birth. No.
Oh my god, I've never seen that.
Wait, really? The one with what the
Ashton Kutcher?
yeah, I was like, what the fuck's this guy's name? Ash Ketchum is the name that kept popping up in my head. I feel like Ash is also an Aries. Ash Ketchum.
Oh, for
He's a
sure.
very Aries. Like, I'm the
Yeah.
first one to go outside of
Very
my
gung
town.
100%.
ho.
Oh, that's so silly. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. This has been such a great conversation. I've learned so much about being Venusian and a Libra rising through your eyes and like the different ways that Venus plays into your different houses and stuff. I feel like I'm a changed
That's
person.
cool.
And also like being
Right?
and like being able to talk about like Saturn in a way, like this definitely was a Saturn remediation for me. I'm like, okay, Saturn is not scary daddy anymore. Saturn is just planning daddy.
Yeah.
And it's my fault if I fuck up. He's just like, well, I told you so.
And long-term focus daddy,
Yeah.
which
Oh
I
yeah.
need.
Need that
I don't have a
long-term
lot of that
focus.
going on.
Let's pull a card. Let's pull a card for bonk. We got power. Oh,
Heck yeah.
power, the Prince of
Cool.
Cups, and
Ooh.
works. Okay, so
Ooh.
power, it says, don't invite everyone to your castle.
Ooh.
Period.
Scary, yeah. What do you secretly wish for? The Prince of Cups. Hello, Mr. Joe. It's okay. I'm just playing some cards to end the stream. What do you need to take the first step? Works. I feel like these are very Saturnian cards.
Oh, very much, yeah.
What are your
Yeah.
boundaries? What are you dreaming about? And how do you make it come true? I love it. I'll take a picture. Yay. Do you guys have any last words for the stream?
Be a lover
Hell
in
yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
Be a lover.
Be a
Bound
lover.
Aries. Oh, bound Aries for real. Wait, that's actually really funny. Be a lover, and there's boundaries. Keep them hot. Who cares? Keep them hot. Learn to put them up. Learn to put them down. Experiment with the boundaries. I think, we don't gotta keep our assholes so tight. Everyone's making experiments and changes.
My God, you know what we didn't fucking talk
Oh,
about?
what?
Great timing for this. The north or the south node was sweeping out our first house from July of 2023 to January of last year of 2025. So we
Whoa.
literally just had to learn a very big fucking lesson about boundaries as Venusian
Oh,
people.
definitely.
Jesus
Oh my
fucking
god.
Christ. Okay, hit me. We don't have to close now. I feel like this is necessary. This is a conversation that needs to be had.
This is healing that we all need.
Oh.
And like, dude, and I realized that like I had this habit of like feeling like I needed to talk to people who commented on my posts online or like be nice to people just because people deserve to be loved. I felt like it was my responsibility to love people because they deserve it.
Oh,
And I was like, wait, what kind of fuck shit is that? No, my love is mine to give intentionally to
Yeah.
people that I love, and there's no shortage of love in the world. Like just because you're not getting it from me doesn't mean that you're not gonna get it from anybody. I was like, why am I taking responsibility for everyone getting to experience love?
Mm-hmm. I am finding that like creating spaces like this has forced me to be like, you're coming in my home weird. Just because I want to build community doesn't mean I want everyone in this community. I am making a specific environment for specific people. If you're being weird in my house, don't like fucking leave. And like and I have felt that responsibility too of like, well, like maybe they can bring something here or like they need this, but I'm like, I don't know if they need it that bad.
Need? What about what my people need?
Exactly. I'm like, I don't think they need that person.
No.
Saturn,
Mistake energy.
not Saturn. South Node in the first house from like 2023 to last year.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was me being stuck in a very Libra psychosis.
Oh, yeah. Same.
Yeah.
That was rough.
It was a time.
You
It was
too,
a
Kelly?
Yeah, oh my god, so much around boundaries. And it was like this weird dual journey of like experimenting with, like, I feel like that Saturn and Pisces energy was sort of like that unconditional love coming out and then
Mm.
being like, wait, no, no, no. There's definitely a need for boundaries around that. Like to
Yeah.
like I always joke now, there's certain types of work I'm not gonna do for other people now unless they pay me for it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, I'd be like, you want to run around all day? I can be that person now, but I need money for that.
Mm-hmm.
No more like
Yeah.
charity work around that kind of like emotional therapy oriented labor, all of that. It was, and I know it was coming from a good place, but man, yeah. And then my cards were like, "Girl, you need to double down on your boundaries." And I was like, "Okay, yep." It's
That's also like
crazy.
such a huge like Cancer placement thing.
Oh,
That
for
like
sure.
not everyone is entitled to your softness and is
Mm.
entitled to your like care. And sometimes we gotta put that shell up and put those pinchers up and be like, not you, not today.
Yeah. No, exactly. Mr. Joe, I gave him last I think like a few streams ago I was telling him to like clean house, like the cards, give him a reading for that, and he's saying that I purged my house and I'm still purging and I keep things I miss, but it's coming along. I feel like I'm really enforcing
Oh yeah.
boundaries better. Now I just need to create some bound Aries. Are we tying up some Aries? Is this what
I like
Saturn in
that.
Aries means?
Oh, for
Shibari
sure.
for the Aries.
I think
Tie those
Aries
bitches
is
up.
like the focusing energy that's like, hey, like we're all so soft, and then Aries is like, all right, stuff's gonna get real. Like you gotta have that to kind of set things into motion. And also like the stuff we want, it takes an energy to fight for it too, that you
Mm-hmm.
gain from not pouring it out in all those places it doesn't need to be. So it's like a very
Gosh.
nice focus.
Mm-hmm.
I love to say that like I can only be a lover because I'm also a fighter. I can
Yeah.
only love people because I am willing to do battle
Mm-hmm.
if my boundaries or anyone else's are infringed upon.
Mm-hmm.
Like without boundaries, we can't have safe relationships. Without Mars, we can't have Venus.
Exactly.
Mm.
And without boundaries, there's so much safety in creating boundaries in relationship, because like you learn to trust to like not push those boundaries with each other, or you learn to test out new boundaries in safe environments, and it's like okay, like everything will still be protected. And I feel like boundaries is like it's protecting your sanctity, and also protecting like your sacredness, and protecting like whatever sacredness of the thing you're trying to protect.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you put that.
Like I feel like that is a very Aries thing to be like, I have my fucking sword and I have my shield, and these are the things that are important for me.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's very nicely put.
I love it. Boundaries
Yeah.
lesson, very Saturnian stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Mr. Joe says, I do need to get back to my Shibari practice, and it's so difficult to find models to practice with, but yeah, I think that's a goal for a new partner, someone I can practice with. And most of my boundaries are coming from protecting time from work, for my son, and for my sleep and time. Yeah. Protecting things
Yeah.
that you care about. And creating a safe practice. I feel like Shibari practice is a really intimate space, and it doesn't need to be like, sexual in nature either. But there's so much fun in just being like finding someone who's willing to be, bound, even if it's just platonic, and being like, cool, my friend wants to do this on me. That's so nice. I have to go pee real bad, guys. I've been holding this pee for a while.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's time to end the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. This has been so educational, and I hope that this has been educational for you as well.
That's so
Do you
fun.
guys have any
Yeah, this was
projects that
so
you want to
fun.
plug or anything?
Eventually I'll be releasing some new stuff. I guess I have been putting out like karaoke, some covers, a little there will be a little bit more stand up. Just basically all the crazy stuff I'm trying out this year. I'm kind of in a detached phase where I'm just flinging it out and not really caring about what happens.
Yeah.
So there may be some of that. Yeah.
That's me as hell right now with
Oh
Saturn
yeah.
Aries. What about
Heck
you, Greg?
yeah.
Your new Substack facelift?
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm going through a transformation over there. You can check me out at fadetogray.substack.com. My most recent article is on the trickster technology of language, and
Ooh.
I highly recommend it.
Cool. That's so fun. I need
Ooh.
to get back on Substack again. I have been so intimidated by that space that I haven't even been reading stuff that my friends are making, and I'm like, that's so lame. Why am I being a baby? Why am I being a scaredy cat? Well, thank you so much for having this conversation. And yes, Mr. Joe, please watch the VOD. And thank you for everyone here that has hung out and come to chat with us.
Yeah.
We will be back on, well, I will be back on Friday for Tarot and Tea. We are talking more about Women's History Month and more feminist stuff. I did not read anything that I said that I was going to read. That's okay. We'll figure it out. But I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday and a wonderful rest of your week if I don't see you on Friday. Thank you again for coming to hang out. Let me bring out the hearts. Nice. I love a woman's her story. Yes, exactly. Wait, where is that? What happened? I usually have a thing where I show hearts. Oh man, it's gone. No. No, wait.
Mercury retrograde is taking no
Oh,
prisoners.
for
I
real.
found it.
It's been doing its thing.
Yay! Okay. Love you all. Good night. Bye.